have stick charges on hand. Toss back from Yopaj. KP dropping way too low to sustain. Is trying to stall with a God's Rebuke, but the reflection is there. Spear back. Can KP survive through the onslaught? There is Metamorphosis from Jackky. He'd rather not expend that. KP still trying to juke. Metamorphosis out, and they find that kill. So just go back to farming for Jackky. A great rotation out from Yopaj. Does find KP, and again, they've managed to put a big dent on that Mars. Just in a huge contrast to how FBZ's Mars games goes, this is extremely slow for KP.
Saw that yesterday, but the FBZ also suffered in one of the games. I think it was the first game in game 1 against SMG. Then he recovered perfectly fine. So not too, you know, it's not like it's the end of the world here. Mars, once you get level 6, you get the Blink Dagger, you're pretty much set for the rest of the game. More items is good, but you can just do a lot with that. The bigger problem, I think, is Yopaj getting really close to that Blink Dagger. It's 1400 gold. It's only 10 minutes in the game. You might get this, like...
FBC. Held back by the Boundless rollout from Mikado with the arrow connection. Should be a simple kill on that Dawnbreaker. And it takes them 10 minutes. But they finally get a successful rotation up top. But back to your point there, Optimo. That Blink inching closer for Yopaj. We've seen that timing before here. They've done nothing to stop him. He's still allowed to farm up. And that build-up's getting awfully close.
Yeah, and you can see like Hyde, he's already got like Infused Raindrop to survive, but it's not going to be enough. Most of the, you know, Q and Hyde are just going to be food for Yopaj. But down that kill on FBZ is a big deal, you know, and the offlaner is pretty low net worth, both of them, just around 3,000 each. And I do think it's kind of more important for FBZ to have a good game, because like I said, Mars, a lot easier to play than the Dawnbreaker. You know, just throw an ultimate and that's pretty good. Dawnbreaker though feels like she needs more net worth to have the same impact.
Yeah, I mean, we see that build up for the Dawnbreaker. It's usually like the BKB shards, maybe a blink. Then you can kind of go for the Basher, your Extras. But just that BKB blink and shards is a lot of gold to invest on the offlane in comparison to what you mentioned. KP really just needs his own blink up. Still a ways off from that though for KP. Still significantly behind even in comparison to FBZ. Speaking of, they are starting to clump up top. Savage does spot the rotations with his little tree dance.
Oh?
Yopaj not going to go for a tree cut yet. Wukong's out onto Yopaj. Can he get the lockdown? Toss back on the Monkey. Doesn't toss him out of the Wukongs. Roll from Mikado. Arrow does connect onto Yopaj, but Solar Guardian's there to stall. Enough HP coming through onto Yopaj, but there's Savage for the jump in. Hammer doesn't save, and FBZ's forced to kind of run. Static Storm doesn't quite connect for a long time. Glimpse back is there. Sustain coming through from Skem to hold back, as they are getting some FPS drops here, but Mikado still standing forward, starting to drop low. They do manage to clear out FBZ. Skem did drop the Golem, might find Hyde with a little bit of a chase down, but doesn't quite fully commit. Savage onto Skem. Gets the Jingu stacks off. One more right click does find a kill, but Savage is dropping pretty darn low here as well. Might melt to that Shadow. We're trying to get the TP play back home. Does barely make it out with enough HP. So a little bit of a back and forth. This time around, Talon finds a decent set of kills.
Huge. I think they got two, Yopaj FBZ as well as Skem. So a huge victory for them. Yeah, they had to use all their ultimates, but who cares? You got the fight. You got the fight in the bag. I love what 23 Savage did. I thought that was risky as hell, but they're like, yeah, we can just do it. The toss from Yopaj, not tossing far enough. I don't believe he had actually a target to toss him that was further, because they're fighting right next to the tower. The creeps were all me, so everyone was sort of in that clumped up area. No one to really toss Savage to, and just good Wukong followed by Mikado. Talon loses nothing, and finally they feels like they have a reasonable lead at this point.
So less than 1k. You still have issues with how much Jacky's farming up, but you equalize elsewhere. Still, Boom has the opportunity to shove in top just a little bit more. Top tier 1, not the healthiest now on Talon's end, and should be found without contestation from Talon. They are grouping up bot. Did smoke out with Mikado and with Hyde, but Jackky has left the building. You might find Yopaj. No, they still find Jackky in the jungle. Static Storm's effective. Jacky's starting to drop low. Is going to get rolled on by Mikado. Can he find the chain stun he needs? The Sunder's right on time from Jackky. The jumps from Tims with a stolen leap. And even Tims is alive. Has a rolling thunder. He's a rolling cube right now, looking for the target. KP in the middle of this. Does have Arena, but doesn't have anyone to follow up. He's left for dead. And Tims, with the leap, with a roll, turns things around for Boom.
That was so close. Oh my god. Jack boys with an amazing thunder. And really good job, by the way, for Tims. He's like, all right, dude, take my soul. You know, I'll give it to you. And then he, with the leap, manages to dodge the rolling thunder, takes it back himself. Very well played by Talon. That was, you know, you could say a little bit of wishful thinking that you can kill Jack Boys with just the Disruptor as well as the Pangolier, but they got very close in that situation. Very unfortunate. One thing I was thinking of is whether it would have been worth Miko to stop the roll to get one hit off, because that would have been real close. Whether they kill Jack Boys, he kind of rolled all the way to the edge and rolled back, and that for the magic damage. That's one of those things where that'll keep him up at night.
Avalanche toss with a blink, and the Solar Guardian come through onto Mikado. Lift this up, and Mikado still alive through this, but doesn't have the swash to get away. Still chasing here. Mikado does have the swash now. Is he actually safe? Toss out, and the Avalanche is there. Mikado is gone. Boom. With that blink on Yopaj, just working the map here, Ottomo.
It's the no downtime, right? That's what we said. There's just no downtime on Yopaj. Not the same thing for the Pangolier. However, all ultimates are up on Talon. They might want to consider grouping up and taking a tower when they're all up, when they're all alive.
Yeah, we've got ample opportunity now. They bring Jackky down mid with a Metamorphosis, chipping away at that tier 1.
Chipping away was like shredding it, right?
Shredding it with the Terror Blade. Completely gone. Talon not going for the defense here, trying to push in bot themselves. They do manage to at least find one tower, but that's 2 towers for Boomis. They're still clumping around. Yopaj hang behind that tier 2. Not going to go fully in for the shove on the tier 2 just yet. It does feel like Talon's losing out on opportunities. Look at Boom. Just smoke up once more. They've got the Golem. No downtime here with Yopaj. They might be able to find more here.
There is no Solar Guardian. That's the one thing, though. If they take a fight in one side of the map, there's no Dawnbreaker for 40 seconds to show up. FBZ will have to teleport the old-fashioned way. KP, he's got Moonlight on him. Throws the spear. I wonder if Boom Esports ping it out. They kind of have a feeling that someone's here. Yopaj, they know it.
Managed to catch out KP. Does have an arena. The roll still up on Tims. He should be able to find that simple kill on the Mars, and that blink is stalled out once more. 3 gold away. Couldn't buy out before dying, and they just keep stalling out that Mars here.
Dude, Tims, is he using the roll better than Mikado so far? Is that fair to say? He's just been doing work with that Rolling Thunder. And Jack Boys gets bigger and bigger. Like, you gotta be pretty scared at this point. He's actually going for the BKB first. No Manta style, just straight up BKB, because he wants to be able to join these fights. And you look at Talon's side, they got nothing that goes through BKB. For Boom, at least they have the Golem, but Talon's got nothing. So at that point, you're not killing Jack Boys unless you get a stun before he BKBs. Once he BKBs, he's unkillable.
You have nothing to handle that spell immunity here.
You got nothing.
Townsend. And it just goes back to that pick. Although they catch out FBZ, they drop the Wukongs, no Boundless out to the left, but they do get the Static Storm. Manage to hold him down. Thunderstrike stolen here by Tims. Does have a lot of damage coming out onto Q. Aren't able to follow through. So they find FBZ here on Talon's end. A bit of pause out from Q here as well. I mean, it's something, but they're still not able to manage Jackky. They're still not able to find him. 1-0-2 on this Terrorblade.
For a second, I actually forgot they had Disruptor. I was like, wait, that's pretty bold from Savage. And then it just comes out like, oh, yeah, right. That's the thing that Disruptor does. We haven't seen him in so long. We forget that, all right, Glimpse is his best ability. But yeah, like you said, Jack Boys basically has the BKB. There's no real way to handle him. And especially if he's got Solar Guardian on him, he's got Sunder available. Talon's going to have to consider trying to kill... Tims feels like he's been the big problem for them. They could get Tims out early in the fight. Maybe get the supports out. Yopaj, so tanky. I don't know how you kill the cores on Boom Esports right now.
It's just back to this. Maybe that's mid Pangolier, right? Like, it's not quite the bursty hero on mid we wanted to. Another, they're just not able to eat through that high HP coming out from both sides. They are still making a move out. No smoke expended. Looking for the angle. They've got the blink on KP now. Just need a good angle for that arena. Don't want to just expend it on the supports that they see. Jacky's a bit further up. You need to gap close somehow, and Talon not finding the opportunity. Good scan out from Boom as well, knowing that Talon's hanging on the low ground, and that fresh BKB is up and running on Jackky, as you mentioned there, Ottomo. So completely protected on Terrorblade. No way to deal with that spell immunity yet on Talon's end. Still staying as a unit though. They don't quite have Static Storm yet. Still half a minute away, but KP blinks forward, does get the arena. Only onto Skem. Stolen arena out from Tim. Solar Guardian to save. So they can't even find that, but they do glimpse FBZ away. Yopaj, though, with the Avalanche toss, does find Hyde, but Yopaj might be a bit too far forward. Mikado gets a roll off, trying to look for the angle. Stolen arena to trap the side of Talon in, but that just allows a spear out onto Yopaj. and Savage finds a streak for himself. BKB popped by Jackky. They catch out Mikado on the side. He's still managing to run, but there's Tims once more with stolen Rolling Thunder. And with that upheaval on Mikado, he can't run. He has to swash away, but that still gives a clean angle for them to run down that Pangolier. Starbreaker out, Mikado gone. So 2 for 1 in favor of Boom Esports in the end.
For people who are wondering, we saw the same interaction yesterday, which is that no matter who uses the arena, whether it's the Rubik or the Mars, he can use his spear on, like he can catch them on whether it's his arena or not, and that's why Yopaj died. Tims, probably like, oops, sorry for that, bro. But Tims, is he gonna be able to make it out? He's just gonna, looks like he might be fine. FBZ though.
Being hunted down, Starbreaker out. Arrow does not connect. The pushback from the gods would be close, but not close enough. So FBZ is going to be saved. Looking at how Savage is forced to play, this is actually a pretty tough Monkey King game. You have to be aware of your allied Mars arena, and you have to be worried about that Dawnbreaker. And the Hammer just breaking trees. It doesn't feel like they can even use Savage as a forward core to kind of spot out and get the pickoffs. He's forced to play a lot safer.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the...
Go through BKB. Let me just farm up real quick this 4,200 gold item as a position 5 disturb. I got it. That really is their best way, unless they could get some bashers on like the Pangolier and the Monkey King. Q.
Get the lift out onto Q, does try to leap away, but Tim's rolling, can still use the Fade Vault. Drive by for Tims as he goes. He is such a menace with that stolen Rolling Thunder. It's just showing us how good he is on his Rubik. He's a menace, and you know, if he wants to play the Marana, we've seen him with the stolen leaps before. It just doesn't feel like Talon has answers. Like, going back to that Ags point here, Automo, it can be great in Hyde, but it's so expensive, like you pointed out. I mean, what do you prefer to see then? We're seeing Mikado build into the Blink, Savage straight to the BKB into the Scotty. Do you feel like this might just have to be a Basher Pangolier game after that Blink?
Yes, it's like you've got to get some way to control people while they're magic immune. Because besides, like we talked about the BKB, but Tim's on the rolling. He's magic immune too. You got to find some way to deal with this guy because you got nothing. And FBZ also is going to be very close. I think he actually has the BKB flying out to him, the recipe right now. So it's going to come down to Mikado to control them. Maybe 23 Savage as well later on can get something like an Abyssal Basher. He is queuing up the Rod of Eidos, going for the, I think, Gleipnir later, which is interesting after the BKB. All right. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I do think at one point you're going to need to get Bashers. Like, you just have to. You got to get some way to control these people.
Yeah, they need that lockdown here on Talon. I guess the mindset for the Gleipnir is maybe you line that up with the Ags on Hyde, so you have additional hold to play with in the Static Storm, in the Arena, and Wukongs. Keep them locked in and get the damage off that way. That's still reliant on this 4,200 gold item on your pos 5 that has died 3 times. So yeah, it's still a long journey for Talon on that front.
Yeah, that's this is. I think Boom Esports actually banned Bayonet themselves because they want to go for this lineup that the enemy has no sort of magic piercing abilities or BKB piercing abilities on. And Disruptor, if your answer to a problem is Disruptor Aghanims, you got real issues. You know what I mean? That cannot be your solution. And Hyde, he's only got 100 gold, so we may not see this Aghanims for 15 minutes, maybe. But both of these games, both times that they faced off, game 1 did go 45 minutes in one game and then an hour in the other game. So they do tend to go the distance between Boom and Talon.
Yeah, they definitely do stall out, especially on Talon's end. I think they're very well known for their discipline and dragging games out, so we'll see if they can do that against Boom, who has been hungry. They are smoked up once more on Boom here, Automo. Yopaj, Scam, and Tims on the hunt. No one in the top lane, though, to find, and no one in that top jungle. But they have forward vision with a good ward snuck between that tier 2 and the jungle ramp. Might be able to play around with that. Bit of a longer flank around here for Yopaj. Still has a good angle. The rest of Talon hanging on the tree side, though. So gonna have the backup to deal with that jump in. And they smoke up themselves. That might have been on the edge of the obs. I think it was. So let's see if Talon still finds success with this one. Dragging Savage out with his fresh BKB. FBZ full retreat does look like Boom just kind of saw that. Really good ward vision from Boom, and they just dodge.
Yeah, it would be good if they could kill FBZ actually, like, because we see FBZ is kind of the solo one by himself. They can get him, won't be able to solo guardian anyone. But this could be a backstab here coming out from Boom Esports. Yopaj looks ready for it.
Oh, they spear out FBZ, but they don't really have a follow through, a bit too far back. Does use the BKB early, Solar Guardian now, toss onto Mikado. So they do manage to get the Static Storm, but Savage just jumps in without any backup and is forced to TP away. No help coming through for the Monkey King. They find another on high. So it's almost going back to that point here, Otama. With a Disruptor, when you're behind, it just doesn't feel like it does enough.
It's a garbage here when you're behind. It's just that's the problem with Disruptor. You have to be winning fights to get some value from the glimpse. And Yopaj just jumped in there. He's like, oh, kinetic field. I don't really care. I blink. Although Q takes a bit of damage, but he's gonna be fine. Unfortunately for Q, he doesn't even have Spirit Vessel charges because they aren't able to get any kills. Boom playing this game so well, and yeah, it's pretty tough for them right now. There goes the Aegis for Jack Boys, 22 minutes in. Next 5 minutes will be pretty tough for Talon. They might lose a lot of map control.
Yeah, it just feels like Boom's going to be able to kick it into full gear. Not like they were slowing down anyway. It's Talon that's kind of on the back foot. If you're on Talon's side right now, you know, just looking at the state of the game, what fixes this for Talon? What's the game plan here?
I mean, I don't think the Mars BKB is gonna help you a ton. Actually, Mars might be losing his life here.
Lift it up, and Jacky's just there. Doesn't even need the Metamorphosis. Stolen Spear by Tims, but the Avalanche from Yopaj. Simple kill onto KP. And Boom just, again, rolling through the map. They are buying space out for Savage. He's 3k behind Jackky, which isn't ideal, but not completely unplayable for the core-to-core matchup. But look at Boom. Another smoke out. No cooldowns to wait for with Yopaj. Double damage bottled up here as well. Gonna be sneaking around. No forward vision on the triangle. Talon is mainly playing on the bot jungle as well. It's a bit of an awkward flank to find. They just hang around at mid. Replant that ward that gave them so much information earlier. And sneak
I
in
think
to find it.
the closest item they might... Yopaj.
Avalanche toss again onto Mikado with a Solar Guardian. Mikado doesn't have any choice. So just, again, just finding everything.
I was gonna say the sort of the next item window, because no one else is close to an item, is Mikoto's Blink Dagger. If he's going for not BK because he has both queued, I think that would be the opening. You know, KP getting BKB, I'm not sure how much of a big deal that is, and none of the supports have items coming, so it's gonna have to be Mikoto's Blink Dagger. You know, blink, so you roll in, blink into someone, burst them down. That could be your opening. That could that's the next move I can see for them.
Yeah.
That's about it, really. Because everything else is pretty tough for Talon.
Yeah, they just don't have the openings. They lose their mid tier 2. Jackky just gets a bit of a shove in. Speaking of, Jackky, he is being hunted down, but he's got the Scotty and Aegis still up and running. Hiding the tree
who's hunting
line.
who?
And Savage has eyes on him as well. I don't know if they have enough for 2 lives, and Hyde will TP out. Not the target they'd want to gun for. Savage still stuck up front here. Does see vision on Tims. Will try for the solo kill onto the Rubik. With the BKB popped as well, but the Golem's already out. Savage just leaps away and will TP out of there. So baits out the Golem in exchange for his BKB. Is that worthwhile?
I guess so. Yes. I mean, it's a tough one, right? Like their cooldowns are both pretty long, but yeah, the Golem's a lot longer. And I guess 23 Savage, you're making a little bit of space, you're forcing them to group up. I think it's alright. I think Talon's be like that. But that was super risky. Like, that was an insane risk for 23 Savage to do that.
Oh, KP instant BKB onto Yopaj. Does not manage to land a spear. They manage to get the Static Storm on top. There is still a Solar Guardian coming through. But the roll coming out from Mikado, can they at least find Yopaj? He still manages to get the toss away, still stalling out. Q falls first. And Yopaj is still alive from that Shadow Word. Still living. Swash does the job from Mikado, but they're still on the chase, wanting to find Tims next. He does have the Stolen Spear up here to slow down that progress. Tims still being jumped though, still looking for more FBZ. And Jackky cutting Savage off in the backline, finds that kill. Tims still alive with a healing on Shadow Word once more. Still being held back. The spear out doesn't connect in Tims, and KP falls first. 3 for 1 so far. As Boom are still on the chase, FBZ just hitting like a madman onto Hyde next. Critted down, Tims gets another. And Talon, the movements just don't line up there.
the heal coming out from Scam to keep Yopaj alive. Because at one point, Yopaj is like, what, 100 HP? Like, he's dead. But no, he keeps taking so much attention from them. And yeah, Warlock Golem was down, but BKB was down that fight as well. And Jackboy took a while to get there, but when he did, the fight was basically over. Unfortunately for Talon, they just took too long to kill Yopaj. It all comes back to Scam's heal. Just very impressive performance as always.
His positioning's just been on point with his Warlock. And his spell use has been phenomenal. Even like the upheavals to cut off these access points makes it difficult for Talon to re-engage.
Is upheaval love again.
Yeah. It's a good spell. It's a great slow.
It's a spell.
In very good circumstances. It's a very good spell.
It's definitely a spell.
It's one of the spells, of all time.
Of all the spells in Dota, upheaval is one of them.
Yes, definitely is. No truer statement has been made. They tried to catch Yopaj, has managed to blink away. Again, mid-tier 2 is already gone, top tier 2 gone as well. And we're still inching towards that BKB. KP right in the front here. Aegis does expire. KP's trying to blink away. They get the glimpse off, but Hyde's still sitting duck for Yopaj to just rip right through.
FBZ?
And they find FBZ. Savage trying to get some damage, but FBZ just retreats. The rest of Boom collapsing from behind. Talon probably not too keen on forcing this fight out. They still have vision on Savage trying to clear out the creep wave. Moonlight Shadow will save. They back
This
off.
could be a solid fight for Talon actually if they go for FBZ and Scam, because it's like 4 versus 2 here, but yeah, this could be pretty good for them.
They're haunting Arena down onto Scam. They manage to lock in the Warlock. Starbreaker does not quite do enough, but that healing from the Solar Guardian does stall it out a bit. FBZ with a BKB trying to do something. And the rest of Boom on the hunt from behind. And Talon disengages. They only find Scam for all their trouble, but it's a kill nonetheless for this team that's 20-9 behind.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they might be able to go for FBZ as well, but they decided not to. It's fine, just getting FBZ.
Savage going onto FBZ. Still has his own BKB on Savage's end. Does manage to Starbreaker down. Still getting a lot of hits off, but there's Tims with a backup. Lift up the stall, and Savage pops the BKB, trying to get the hits onto Yopaj. Forced to use the Wukongs and TP away. So, another big spet to spells. They can't even find a solo pickoff with Savage here.
Yeah, unfortunately, again, Savage is playing this very risky style, and it pays off sometimes, and sometimes that just happens where it's like, I ended up using Wukong, couldn't get the kill on FPC, but it's fine. He's doing an amazing job, honestly.
Yeah. Roshan Info as well, being dropped there by Scam for the joy of all. So very keenly aware now. As... yeah, it's getting tough. Like, we do have the Mikado BKB over to Blink. Like, he does rush that BKB first here, Automo. We haven't seen the impact of it. And Boom right now just clumping around bot. Tier 2 faults. No outer towers left for Talon. As Boom, even without that Aegis, still have the angle for high ground. Silver Edge already up on Jackky. They've got the damage with Yopaj here as well, just with the Echo Saber. And Talon can get the defense off here. Starting to come in. Mikado roll up here. Jumping forward to get the glimpse out. That is a stolen glimpse out from Tims. Mikado just melts to the right click of Jackys. They jump forward, get the toss out, clear out high, gem on the ground. Don't even need it. KP will pick it up. That bot Ceteraks are gone. Savage trying to make something happen mid, going for a tier 1, but the TPs are coming in. They lift up Savage. He does not have BKB for 8 seconds. Solar Guardian down as well. Savage sitting duck to all of this output and is taken away. Boom, just find everything everywhere.
And they've got no back. Jack Boys is still the base. He never left, you know, like he's like, alright guys, you go handle the monkey and I'll be here just taking, and they call it. Which, I mean, it's a faster game than we expected, but to be fair, Boom Esports has been on fire this whole tournament, and holy crap, this didn't even feel like a very fair game, to be honest with you. You know, it just seemed like from the start of the game, Boom Esports had the advantage and they just never let it go. All started with KP having a tough time bottom lane. Yopaj was very active, whereas Makoto, like you said, the longer cooldown Pangolin made it tough for him. And 23 Savage did a great job just trying to push out the lanes, trying to make space for his team. But he's the carry. You kind of want him to farm. And Jackboys just, you know, became unstoppable at that later point in the game.
Yeah, he just couldn't get a handle on Jackky, and Boom played phenomenally well. Talon tried to pick up that Mars and Mirana combination to not the best success. Do you think this maybe boils down to a draft issue? We talked about all those possibilities on the last pick for Mikado, and they opt for the Pango over that Quap that was free, and over the Void Spirit that was free as well. Do you reckon maybe some of those issues came down from just not having that play from mid that they'd need?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd put it on Mikado. I'm just, you know, it's no one player's fault. You know what I mean? But they may have pushed the Mars Mirana combo a bit too hard, feeling like we gotta take it because we can't leave it. And instead of just sort of banning, we've seen this time and time again. If a Mars is picked in a Boom Esports in the game, that team is gonna win. You know, Boom is gonna win. So maybe just get rid of the Mars, have KP on something he's a little bit more comfortable with, because that bomb lane was kind of a disaster.
Yeah, it went off a lot harder than I think Talon expected. We saw Scam get that first blood, just trading right clicks with Shadow Word on a Mirana. And even Timson Rubik, right? He had really huge impact with his stolen rolls. The stolen leaps when they were trying to chase him down. Boom just played on Razor's Edge, and Talon just not up to form there. We'll see what they do bring out in Game 2. It will be a bit of a short break before we're back for that, but it is John Xfire and Ottomo here. We'll be back for that Game 2 between Boom and Talon in short order. Catch you soon.
Conversation. My grand prize, catch my vision, no damn pride. Girl, you max easy. I don't mind leaving, just let me know. Then she told me take it easy. Yeah. I just can't.
Can't be a pro, don't waste your time, no. Cause you hold the power as long as you're dreaming.
Make it. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Or will you fucking fight back?
You ain't never ever gonna break it. You can never beat them and they're better than you face it. Thinking that they giving them, you're not thinking straight, kid. No, they don't give a damn, you got what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing, I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying, stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just faking. Nah, I don't wanna hear it anymore. I don't wanna hear it anymore. All these fucking thoughts, they are not what I need anymore. I'm about to shut the motherfucking door on all you poor ass haters with your heads in the clouds. Talking out loud so proud, you better shut your goddamn mouth before I do more speak out. It's about to head south.
You're never gonna make it. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that.
Are you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Or will you fucking fight back?
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah.
But it's too late now, I remember you and me, and how careless we
Yeah, all day and all night, we'd stay up, it felt so right. We were so young, we were so dumb. We would get drunk and then hook up. We were okay, we were alright, staying awake till the sunrise. We were in love, couldn't stop us, like a good drug, never run.
We hook up in my car, driving so far, play you guitar, you'd show me your art, let down our guards, think with our hearts, stare at the stars, we were never apart, drinking too young, way too much fun, out in the sun, or pain when it's gone, took you to
It's too late now, I remember everything, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be. And how careless we could be. And how careless we could be. Late nights, long fights, it felt right, we were alive. We would go out, we were so loud, we were so proud, we had no doubts. Weekends and weekdays, we'd spend our own way. We were careless, we were fearless, we were reckless, time was precious.
We love to waste time, whiskey and wine, drinking all night, asleep by your side. Finally alive, we would just drive, never arrive. Our journey was life.
The other team to say, are you guys going to pick the Mars, or are you guys going to ban it? So I think that's going to be an interesting thing. I do think that Talon should just consider banning the Mars, taking something else, and playing with that. We'll have to go in the draft and see if that's something they're going to follow. But that would be one thing I'd say that you want to start out with.
Yeah, and it does look like we've already got those initial bans here. We do see the Mars being banned out by Talon's end. So they take it away, not giving that opening for FBZ to play. He still had a very mean game on that Dawnbreaker anyway, but still don't want to give those chances away. Boom, for their part, back to the standard bans, taking away KP's heroes, taking away his special Brewmaster that he almost always performs on. Keen to see if they go back. Yeah, they ban out the Death Prophet again, so it seems like they figured same issue for Talon. Their off lane is something they rely on heavily. KP did not have the best game last game, and they changed things up on Talon's, and they go for the Dawnbreaker themselves here, Automo.
Very target. It feels very target towards FBZ, right? Yesterday, I think we only saw him on either the Mars or the Dawnbreaker. Boom, they go straight away for the Nyx Assassin as well as the Razor. This is a hero we've talked about, the Nyx Assassin. We say that he's generally pretty weak in the laning stage. This is why he's not picked. But in a game like this, against the Solar Guardian, you're really good because you can use Spike Carapace to proc on basically everything Dawnbreaker has, which makes him a very good counter for her. And Razor, you can just static link with the Dawnbreaker to take away all her physical damage. More and more, I'm kind of thinking that Talon might consider putting this Dawnbreaker as a support. But look at that, a Terrorblade coming out. And, you know, John, does it feel to you like Talon's sort of reacting to Boom Esports' draft a lot rather than coming in with sort of their own game plan?
It does feel like they're just sniping away some of the heroes that made Boom's draft work for sure. I mean, going into this Terrorblade really early on, after seeing the Razor, probably expecting that Razor safely in for Jackky, so feeling like, you know, this is something Terrorblade can handle. You're going to outrange the Razor with your Dragonlance down the line. It's going to be fairly easy to break that static link for you. I still feel like Boom has really good answers to it. They saw that Dawnbreaker come out. They go for Nyx. As you mentioned, laning isn't great, but it's such a great foil against Dawnbreaker. Spike Carapace on Solar Guardian, Spike Carapace on Celestial Hammer, Spike Carapace even on Starbreaker, and Dawnbreaker just doesn't do much until a BKB. So it's going to be a pretty tough early game once more for KP or Q, as we have seen that Dawnbreaker flex to 4 as well here for Talon's end. But if it is an off-lane instant pickup, it does feel like Talon's locking themselves in here, Automo. It's 2 cores in the first phase if they go that way.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's a support Dawnbreaker. Just because if, you know, Dawnbreaker is going to be countered, I'd rather she be countered as a support most of the time. But this Terrorblade pick, besides the fact that they're denying Jackboy as one of his best heroes, is a really good hero against Razor. Razor, you know, you stack like one person and you take away all the damage, but Terrorblade, guess what? He usually has Manta, he has some illusions as well, so that's always great. And he has a ton of armor, so a lot of the damage coming out from Razor, which is, you know, physically, doesn't really care too much. Terrorblade can sort of stand toe-to-toe with the Razor, with his gang, you know, with his friends, and just beat him down. So I like the Terrorblade pick from Talon. Excited to see where this Dawnbreaker is going to go.
And interesting sets of bans from Boom now as well. They take out the Enigma, the Wind Ranger. The Wind Ranger being a little bit more of the strange one. I don't remember
10
Talon playing it too
seconds
often for
remaining.
Talon's end. Banning out a lot of Yopaj heroes, Batrider gone,
5
Void
seconds
Spirit along with
remaining.
Tiny, leaving the Ember in the pool, and Boom does have first pick in the next phase. Do you reckon this is the time we see that Yopaj Ember pop back in, Ottomo?
I think picking him third is a little bit risky because if we are assuming this Dawnbreaker score, there's still 2 supports, and these supports can come in with the stuns you need. Yeah, like Dawnbreaker's not catching Ember Spirit, not not a million years, at least not by herself. And Terrorblade is not going to do much, but you can see 2 supports. We might see a Rubik, we might see a Shadow Shaman, we might see even a mid puck come out. So I think taking Ember at 3 is risky. Boom Esports might feel very confident and disagree though, and just go for it. But I mean, I wouldn't. But I have half their MMR, so definitely,
Yeah,
definitely different.
Team
they could be confident. See the Visage being banned out by Boom as well. I believe that's something KP's been playing often, and they take the Enchantress themselves on Boom. So that should be our Schem hero now on the 5 with Tims on the 4, Nyx. There is some room for that core inch, but it's not something Boom has really run, so it should just be our 2 supports on hand. Funny enough, talking about picking heroes
10
that the other
seconds
team likes for Talon, Talon absolutely loves that Enchantress on Q.
5
We've seen a
seconds
lot of
remaining.
games, especially in the DPC, where Q basically becomes a core of his own towards the late game with Yench. Now Boom has that for themselves here. How are you feeling about potentially the lane duos coming out? Say, Razor safe with the Enchantress. It does feel pretty good to play with that Enchant and Razor chasing you down.
Yeah, I mean, you can get creeps with either slow or stun. It's you already have your own slow with Enchantress. It's pretty. It feels pretty good. So I do like this combination. And one thing I've noticed a lot is that Schem really likes heroes that have some sort of heal or save as a position 5. You know, Bane has a Nightmare. We've seen him with the Wyvern. We've seen him with the Warlock, and now he's going for Enchantress. And he just really likes those heroes. You buff up the hero, you max out the heal. So makes it really difficult. We saw that in the first game when he kept Yopaj alive. Anyway, Talon, they do go for the Marcy, can provide a lot for the Terrorblade with the sidekick as well as the rebound, just giving him so much mobility. And of course, you can just target the Razor to remove it. So it's a decent pick, and it does feel like that's going to be at least a position 4.
Dire team
But again, it feels like they're going to have some. Oh, there you go. They take Ember Spirit.
Yeah.
They take Ember Spirit for themselves. That leaves Boom with, there is a Kunkka in the pool, which I like. There's the Snapfire for Yopaj. We'll see what they want to go for. And of course, there's the Puck. That's the hero I want to talk about. I was like, there's a hero I want to. But Puck is still in the pool. We'll see if Boom want to go for this.
Yeah, you don't have the best hold from Talon to
5
keep something like the
seconds
puck down.
remaining.
Dawnbreaker, Marcy, not the best. They will go for the Timbersaw here, which is an FBZ special. Now, Timbersaw itself has not been the strongest hero so far. It has been popping up here and there, and see, it hasn't been the most standout hero, but it is something we've seen FBZ fall back to. Is this a great Timbersaw game in your opinion, Ottomo?
10 seconds remaining.
It's pretty good early on, right? Because Terrorblade has no health early on. You know, he starts out with less than 6 on 580, I think. That's with a couple of branches, so you can burst him down. And I like that a lot.
Ban.
But later on, the Timbersaw will fall off, and he provides you with no control. And the only real control on Boom Esports side is Nyx Assassin. How are you going to catch the Ember Spirit? You can use Spike Carapace as he slides a fist. I believe it's procs right after he finishes. And of course, you can walk into the Flame Guard. But
10 seconds.
there's just a lack of control from Boom Esports. There's still that mid lane. There's still possibly a puck coming out, though.
Remaining.
Yeah, and that puck could fill in some of those gaps that Boom does have on hand here. If they do need that additional control. Trying to think, I feel like the Snapfire you pointed out here, Ottomo, still fits in, although, you don't have the best setup for, say, the Kisses in this game. But it can be that magic damage you need, a little bit more control. The Cookie Stun at least gives you something. And in the mid lane matchup for Yopaj, it's what he normally picks against the Ember, at least back when you could melee Kisses. When you could self-target Kisses, the Ember has no play. You can't even just stand up and try to
10
right-click down
seconds remaining.
the snap. So could still be something Yopaj falls back
5
to.
seconds remaining.
The puck, as you mentioned, is still great. For
They could put the Razor mid. I mean, that's something Talon thinks. That's why they got rid of the Zeus. They could put the Razor mid. You know, anytime Ember Spirit walks in, you stack link him. You go for some. You pick another carry instead, which I don't mind. I don't know if the Razor is a Yopaj type hero. I know he's always been like the high mobility, flashy heroes. I kind of prefer him on the Kunkka. Gives you a certain amount of magic damage, gives you that lockdown for the Ember with the X mark. So I feel like they might go for last pick Kunkka for Boom Esports. Talon, they definitely need an offlane here, unless it's a Dawnbreaker off, in which case they might need another support.
We've seen a lot of Marcy offlane from KP. That could be the call. He'll run the Q Dawnbreaker with the last pick hide here. It feels a bit awkward for that kind of draft, but it is still flexible enough that they are also confusing Boom. Boom banned out the Viper and then the Mirana, so expecting that flex from Talon coming through here as well. Gonna have to show their cards first in Talon, though, digging into the reserve time here. What would your preference be, Otmo? Out of all the Flux and the Dawnbreaker, Marcy, which do you think should take priority?
A Dawnbreaker. I'm generally not a big fan of Marcy as a core. I feel like Dawnbreaker just does a much better job at that, and Marcy should be a support, focusing more on breaking the static link on the Razor. I'm wondering if Talon might go for a Pangolier, though, just to keep that bit more flex going for their side, waiting for Boom Esports. You know, they say, oh, we're not going to lock into the M, but at the same time, even if you take Pangolier, it's probably going to go off them because Ember Spirit can't do that. So Talon, they are pretty locked into at least two of their cores. It just comes back to the Dawnbreaker where she's going to go to.
Yeah, still kind of sussing things out here on Talon's end. For Boom, again, that flex with the Razor is something you mentioned. It does still feel like they're looking for the Yopaj hero mid. The Kunkka ID is still there. The puck is still available somehow. So it does feel a little bit more open for Boom. They go with the Necrophos for Talon, so we are getting the Marcy and Dawnbreaker supports with KP on the Necrophos. Does that cover the gaps here for Talon their side?
I mean, game one, I was all in. I was like, oh man, Talon's draft is better by a little bit. This does give them a good amount of damage, which the sustain is also pretty nice for them. Boom Esports, apart from the Timbersaw, they take some time to get that damage out. Razor doesn't, needs to stack click off for a few seconds before he starts hurting people. Enchantress Assassin, their damage is okay, but it's not amazing as for supports. So Necrophos does feel like it'll be difficult here to bring down, which I like, but I was thinking that maybe Talon needs some sort of lockdown. Boom, if they take a puck here, I don't know how you're going to control him. They go with the Kunkka. All right, that's still fine. That's also a really good hero for Yopaj. And Boom Esports, I'm liking their draft quite a bit here.
Yeah, they've got the Yopaj special coming out there with the Kunkka, the FBZ special with the Timbersaw. They've got a lot of that early damage, you said. Now, as it scales on, it can take a while to get it out, especially from Jacky's Razor, but it does feel like Yopaj will be that physical burst they need with the Tidebringer. So we'll see how much Talon can recoup from that first game. Boom kind of made it look one-sided for the most part there, and Talon's going to need to pull something out of the bag to force that game 3 here in the upper bracket finals. And remember, either team's not going to be eliminated yet. They will play in the lower bracket finals if they don't make it through here, but neither side will want to play that additional series before the grand finals getting into Ginting. So we'll have to see, again, who does come out on top. As you mentioned, though, Boom, it does feel stronger for them in your opinion, right? Like, I mean, Kunkka and Timbersaw for their end. Like, these are specialties for these two players.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Yopaj once. I was like, and he was picking it, I think after the first TPC season ended, I was like, in one game, he just went straight up BKB on Kunkka. He's like, yeah, if they have a lot of magic damage, I just go straight BKB. They can't do anything. You look at Talon, they're mostly magic damage in the early game here. So I feel like once he gets BKB, they got no way of dealing with him on Talon's side, and we might just see Yopaj just run through it. FBZ is also going to go for probably a Hood, stay alive, maybe a Yule Scepter as well. And Talon, we talked about the damage. Boom Esports takes time to ramp up. Talon also, the burst damage is not amazing. It's fine, but it's not incredible. And I just feel like they lack control as well. So overall, just Boom Esports looks better. Looks really good.
Yeah, it's a solid lineup now. And there are a couple of caveats, right? Like the Necrophos is still a pretty decent foil against these high HP heroes with Reaper's Sight. But the BKB does kind of nullify that. So we'll have to see how well KP plays in this game in comparison to game 1. A lot on the line. Boom, 1 game away of just playing one last series to go into Ginting. And Talon on the back foot now. Again, a great rematch between two great teams that had a spectacular run in the DPC. And it's looking a lot better for Boom. I mean, again, game 1 just looked so much stronger for them. And this is them coming out from visa application. It just feels like they're so much more revitalized off of these appointments.
I just love how every time we get John's like, guys, remember there was a visa application. That is a big deal. But yeah, I mean, they do have a big effect on them in Stockholm. So Boom Esports, yeah, you can see that their spirits are really high. They're just kind of playing crazy. You know, they're not scared. Whereas I feel like Talon are very careful in their games. But they are going to be a little bit more active in this game because they have Makoto on their spirit. Not as much downtime as like a Pangolier, you know, where it's like, gotta wait for the Rolling Thunder. Then you kind of get online a little bit more after you have the Blink Dagger. So it takes a little bit of time. Ember Spirit should be able to make a little bit more space than that.
Definitely. It feels like Mikado should be able to take the reins here, but again, he's laning up against
30
Yopaj, right?
seconds
Like,
to battle.
it's still Yopaj Kunkka, and Yopaj Kunkka up against Ember. We've seen that multiple times before. Yopaj knows what to do against that matchup. He can definitely work it in his favor. Do you see that lane being a little bit more even, or do you feel like, considering the circumstances, Yopaj might just be on a roll here?
I think he'll be on the roll. What I'm interested in is the lane swap. Looks like they're thinking of putting KP bottom and 23 Savage top. They kind of don't want this to put the Timbersaw against the Terrorblade. They know the Timbersaw's burst damage is insane, and they do not want to put him at that risk. And yeah, FBZ, we'll see if they decide to swap lanes as well. They're like, yeah, we don't care. We'll put FBZ bottom against the Necrophos. It doesn't really bother us in any way.
Yeah, it still feels like something FBZ should be able to manage. The magic damage is going to be annoying, but you do have eventually a heal coming through from Scam to help sustain through that somewhat. And we'll see how much Scam and FBZ can get done. They are, of course, laning up against Q, and as mentioned, the lane swap with KP. Are there any timings we expect here? Is this something that gets a little bit more aggressive for Talon, or maybe a little bit better for Boom? As they get the toss back with a Dispose onto Skem, doing a lot more damage here. Skem did opt for level 1 Impetus, so Q's not trading unfavorably, but is there any major spikes in this lane to watch out for?
I think the eyes will be on FBZ. Like we see how Timbersaw can do just an insane amount of burst damage as he levels up. So maybe around level, once he has a point in the Whirling Death and Timber Chain, that's probably what going to be level maybe 3, level 4. Around that point, that's when we want to keep our eyes on FBZ. Until then, we might see level 2 with the rebound as well as the dispose on the Marcy. That could get a kill on someone as well. So level 2 Marcy, level 4 on the Timbersaw. Those are sort of the very lane power spikes we could see.
Let's see who does mention build up there. Mikado already dropping low on that mids while trading with Yopaj. Is keeping up in CS, but Yopaj just leveraging that Tidebringer really well. Managing to drop Mikado all the way down to just one Tango and the Fairy Fire left. So we are seeing that Yopaj Kunkka kick into gear. As mentioned, does this lane get any easier for Mikado? Or again, does it just go back to what you said, Yopaj is just feeling it?
Yopaj is feeling it, man. And the Tidebringer gets more and more dangerous. Yeah, you might be able to try to dodge it with Sleight of Fist, but the cooldown is just so low on Tidebringer. It goes down to 7-4 seconds, and Sleight of Fist just cannot keep up. And Mikado, he's suffering because of this. Yeah, it's just not going to get easier for him.
Yeah, it's a tough time. He's still keeping up in CS, but the HP trade is not going his way. We'll see if some relief comes out from Mikado down line up top. Being aggressive onto Jackky with a static link. They do manage to run him down a bit, but not look for that kill down. Bot also just getting a little bit of a back and forth. Nothing too dangerous yet.
Q used the rebound, but could not get the dispose off before FBZ threw the Timber Chain, which means that FBZ was able to make that alive.
And Earth's Impale was out, is dropping low, so is Savage. So there's aggression down bot, but the aggression up top is much more concerning. Talon not having a great time with Savage in this lane at all. Jackky managing to get a little bit more in that farm, and Tim's just being a lot more aggressive with his Nyx and Razor combination. Just static link plus Impale. Is this something that Talon can relieve? I mean, if you go off to a slow start for Savage, it doesn't feel like it's going to be a fun game for them.
It's okay. I mean, we know the Terrorblade can farm in the jungle very effectively, so it's not too bad. As long as Terrorblade's not dying, he's not falling too far behind, you're generally okay with it. I mean, Razor's only got 1 CS more than him, so it's not a big deal. Just a little bit more harassed than they expected.
Yeah, they do have a lot of good magic damage coming out. Jackky does opt for the Plasma Field to be leveled up to 2.
Yopaj?
3, although Yopaj looking for that opportunity, does get the X off onto Mikado. The Torrent doesn't quite connect, but the Tidebringer does. Still, Q coming in, rebound up. Can he get the dispose? He does onto Yopaj. Chains out for Mikado. Sleight of Fist at the ready. Scam trying to help, but Mikado does find the first blood. Great rotation out from Q, and that is the relief we were looking for this mid.
Yeah, I mean, it came, Yopaj tried really hard with this one, with that one, that one, what the hell am I saying? But it was just a great rotation by Q. And we were saying, like, this is going to be a tough lane for Mikoto, but thanks to the support rotation, they were able to get the kill. Yopaj, a little overconfident there. Kind of feels like it's one of those situations where if he keeps his health high, he shouldn't be falling. Just more dangerous for Mikoto. And Mikoto's getting close to that level 6. And that could be a problem for them. If he goes to the bottom lane, he gets some kills on FBZ maybe.
Yeah, that could open up opportunities for Mikoto to start applying more pressure on Talon's end. Still a fairly silent game despite that first blood. Mikoto again just working onto the phase mutant or
Top lane.
Although top,
Jack boys.
starting to get aggressive onto Jackky. Hyde jumping forward, does manage to secure that kill. Tim's not able to isolate, doesn't even have the value point in Spike Carapace, opting instead for the mana burn to harass. So nothing to stop Hyde when he does initiate in there.
A tiny bit greedy on Tim's to go for that, but it's not the biggest deal. Jack boys dies once, but it's fine. And yeah, overall, all the lanes looking pretty good for Talon right now. They got the first blood, the mid lane. Bottom is going okay, and top lane just got another kill for themselves. So they're feeling themselves in game 2. You know, that Visa buff doesn't last forever.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't. And let's see if they can get even more. Static link out onto Savage along with the Impale. Does cut them off, but here comes Hyde with a Starbreaker. Jackky starts to lose all of his HP. Does have a salve at the ready, so should be fairly well protected and will be able to heal up. No reflection available on Savage. So a lot of back and forth there. How's the bot lane going? KP holding steady up against FBZ. Level 5 on the Necrophos. We aren't seeing that aggression come down bot. Neither side really playing off the back of these sustainable off-lane heroes. Who does this kind of pacing favor though? Like KP is working towards an early earn. FBZ, typical Timbersaw build-up. Maybe going for that early Hood of Defiance to deal with the magic damage. Whose earlier timings are a bit scarier here?
These heroes like to snowball in the early game. I'd say the Timbersaw is the scarier one, though. If he gets a really good start, he can go make a lot more space. And Necrophos, you know, he's an ultimate based hero. When his ultimate's down, he can't make as much space as he'd like. Whereas we can see FBZ, like, you know, kill bottom, teleport top, still make a ton of space. Not the same thing with KP's Necrophos. So yeah, you're saying like they're both happy that they're getting the farm, but I think Boom Esports is definitely enjoying this a little bit more.
Again, this is something FBZ knows the ins and outs of very well. So, bit of a pause, immediately going back in here. As, you know, just maybe some slight internet issues. We've been experiencing a couple of weird packet loss drops here as well. Doesn't affect the stream itself as they are trying to jump forward onto Scam. They spot out the creep, dispose out. That will have the stun in a bit, but not quite enough to save that Ench. Mikoto just instantly pops that Invis, maybe looking for that opportunity bot. No. We'll grab the bounty rune instead, fully topped up here. They do manage to get a little bit of a chase up top onto High, but the static link didn't last. Tim's didn't have the mana for the Impale. That could land them in trouble. Savage walking up. Metamorphosis in 1 second. Without any mana. Well, Tim's has enough for at least one spell now. Could still get aggressive, but again, just kind of slowing things down a bit. The mid lane has still kind of drawn a little bit even, and Yopaj has been recovering well in the jungle, so he's level 7 matching Mikoto. At what point do you expect either mid to maybe start making some moves around, or do you expect the supports to rotate back mid instead to get aggression going?
I feel like Mikoto might consider going bottom just to get that first Reaper Scythe kill on KP, but no, Yopaj is the one who's going to go bottom first.
TP down, does have the X combination. FBZ running down KP right now. Nothing to save. Will go Shroud now with the stick usage, wand usage, but not enough to save. KP does get taken away. Up top, they are making moves though. And they do find Jackky, so that's an off lane for safe lane trade. With Talon's rotations, as Q finds more, gets the dispose out onto Tims. Tims does have the Spike Carapace, is stalling out. FBZ is here with the damage from the chains and whirling death, and they find Savage. So a bit too far out after that kill on Jackky. Hyde still not safe here either. FBZ looking for his former teammate, chops him down in tree line.
And yeah, that's going to be a problem. Like the FBZ show, he's on. He's online. He can do what he wants. And I like this Enchanter's pick because you can remove the Ghost Shroud from the Necrophos. So on bottom lane, he uses Ghost Shroud, you just enchant him, and that removes a lot of his healing. So this is kind of the problem with the Necro. Yeah, it's great that he's getting farm. It's much better than the first game, but you're still very inactive when your ultimate's down. Even when he has his ultimate, he hasn't been able to sort of make any space for the team.
Yeah, they haven't been able to play around that yet. This could be the opportunity on the Schem. Managed to get the Starbreaker and a nice Reaper's out. Not the biggest target to cut down, but that is a stack up on KP at the least here.
Yeah, right. It's like you want to get going at some point, so good kill for them overall.
Yopaj surrounded here by the side of Talon, does manage to Tumbler's Toy down. Impale does land onto one. The boat's there to stall out as well. Yopaj still on the run. KP out with a slow and go shroud. Still keeping that chase. Damage coming through from Mikado, but it's so durable with a boat pop. Scam in to get that enchant slow off. Q rebound doesn't quite land. Now are forced to back off from that tier 1 as Jackky has shown up as well. Impale out onto Hyde. Gonna be able to find that kill. Static Link out onto Q as well. And FBZ comes and rip them apart. A 5-man rotation down bot, but nets them 2 nice support kills here.
In the meantime, 23 Savage is recovering here. The cores are surprisingly, both carries surprisingly low CS here. Jackboy's only at 30, and I think 23 Savage just hits 50 himself. So not really having the free farm. Both of them felt pretty pressured in this game. Of the two, though, I think that you'd rather be behind on a Terrorblade than you would on the Razor because he just farms faster.
Yeah, that farming pace is kicking into gear for Savage, but all the space created is working onto Dragonlance, into the Yasha, into the Scotty. So already set to build up here. No contestation coming onto Savage so far. That does provide room for Boom to shove in bot. FBZ getting that done himself with all the durability he has with level 3 reactive. And again, there's just no damage to do with that yet on Talon's end. So does get the first tower of the game here going for Boom. 5-5, less than 1k lead going Boom's way. Rather even game so far with all of these back and forth trades.
BKBs are going to come out on Yopaj. He's got queued up. And looks like Jackboys wants to go for it as well. We talked about sort of the magic damage from Talon, where a lot of their damage early on is just magic. And that BKB is going to do a lot against them. And of course, FBZ went for the hood himself. So might be some issues.
X marked up, boat out as well. Gonna be taken out. Mikado is there to help. The chain stunts are flying through. And Hyde is going to be fed to the fishes here. So Yopaj finds another kill under his belt, accelerating that BKB you mentioned. So already set to have a great time. Number 1 in net worth for Yopaj. And again, that BKB time is going to cause a lot of issues for Talon. They are still building up in Savage, but again, he's not quite taking the lead yet as they are making plays mid. Mikado jumps in. Impale does miss on Tim's. Reaper's Sight, not quite enough damage from KP, but enough for Mikado to do his job. Jackky draining some decent damage output on the Razor, but it's already been done. Still, Yopaj rotating in with Schem, looking for more as FBZ shows up as well. X out onto the Dawnbreaker, but there's the Solar Guardian to save. X onto KP, and FBZ, not the target he can burst. And just that Hood of Defiance makes that an untenable kill. But look at this clump up mid. Everyone showing up mid. They want this mid tier 1 on Boom set.
Except
Schem walks up to Savage and just gets hammered down, alright?
Yep, I mean, but except for Q, who's still in the bomb lane. Looks like they're just pinging him out, but Scab a little aggressive there, making sure, checking what's going on. 23 Savage, he's got the Dragon Lance, he's building up to the Yasha as well, so his farm is very on par, like he is fine. Jackboy's on the other hand, really suffering here. He's only got, I think, the Ogre Axe, trying to build a BKB. He's got what, Power Treads and Magic Wand, that's basically it. So even when the BKB comes out, I think he's still gonna struggle. He doesn't have the levels or the items to sort of really fight. Like, Jackboys can just go meta, make a couple illusions, and just beat him down to death.
They've got that damage coming through on Savage once he is ready to participate in these engagements. Boom, though, taking a forward position down bot, just trying to get that build up onto Jackky. At what point do you feel like Boom should start rolling? We've seen the strong start from FVZ, but Talon's solution seems to just ignore that Timbersaw. Like, is there a timing discrepancy with these lineups? Do you expect Boom might start to taper off a little bit faster here?
Once the Yopaj has the BKB, then we'll see what they can do. You know, like, oh, bomb lane. Looks like, yeah, Miko just rolls out, no problem. Yeah, once Yopaj gets the BKB, I think that's going to be the timing for Boom Esports. Because it doesn't feel like Jackboys is going to have the impact you want from the carry this game. That's just the unfortunate part. It feels like it's going to be Yopaj's job to carry them in this game, as the next work kind of indicates.
Yeah, feels like it's going to be the Conquer show here on out for the side of Boom. there's still further itemization for the Razor. It just feels like the timings are a little bit off. But as
Quite
it stalls
late,
out,
yeah.
I guess, you know, refresh is going to be nice, I suppose. If you can find a farm, double BKB, double static is one way to get things done. And we'll see if Jackky will reach that point. He is one of those players that can find farm in the toughest spots. Although he is still suffering, but no, he's not too far behind Mikado. So all things considered, you're not in the worst position for Boom here as they maintain a slight net worth lead. They have both slowing down here though, so both teams kind of looking for room to recover.
Yeah, in terms of looking at the items, KP, he's got the Spirit Vessels. Going to go for Yules just so he can dodge that boat if you're being X-marked. So it helps a little bit. KP though, he needs to be careful. He might walk into the whole of Boom Esports here. And just goes back to the tower. And FBZ, Makoto takes the illusion right in front of him. That's kind of important because you can use it to dodge some spells when you trigger it, which is nice. I always like that change. I felt like illusioners were so trash before that, but now they give you that free sort of dispel.
Yeah, it's been really impactful since then. Opportunity for Boom to shove in mid with FBZ taking point. And Mikado though does come back in, gets a nice route off onto Tims, but not going for the full commit. And X-Mark out onto KP. Solar Guardian is ready. Is that going to be enough? No, it stuns out from Tims. KP still going to be alive though, still trying to get some aggression forward. Q hammering away at Skem, and Savage runs in from the side. They find FBZ. They've got the damage Reaper sight as well. And they manage to take out that Timber Saw. They lose Q in the process. Still trying to get the chase. Great stun out from Tims and a great torrent out from Yopaj, but Yopaj now in danger. Sleight of Fist ready, Chains ready, and Yopaj is gone. So 2-for-1 going in Talon's favor. Opportunity for the mid push. Fortify is out, but you've still got a lot of time in that Metamorphosis for Savage.
That was, I mean, they trade only Q for 2 cores, Yopaj and FBZ, and they take the tower as well, keep their own alive. So very good fight for Talon just now. And Jack Boys again, he can't join them. Whereas Savage, he's like, yeah, sure, I'll just come in. I'm a ranged hero that they can't really touch. I got my illusions. So comes out. I don't know how much damage did he do actually. He did the most damage in that fight.
And they managed to find Skem straggling long down bot as well. So Talon starting to hit those peaks now with Mikado just taking point for the team, being that highly mobile hero. And this kind of comes back to a point you made in the draft, Automo. For this Ember Spirit, I mean, the Conka is there with EX, but for your supports, the only real play you have is with Tims right now.
And it's not really like a completely reliable play. You know, maybe you can walk in when he's flame guarding. Maybe you can, try to get with him when he's using Sleight of Fist. But it's still tough. You know, it's still, you really gotta be in the right position to catch this Ember Spirit. So Mikado, he's been playing it well. And once he gets BKB,
Q dispose on Tims, tree cut as well. Vendetta is used up. Chains out onto 2 for Mikado. Still a good impale coming through. Is it going to be enough? Mikado starting to drop a little bit low, but hammers out from Hyde, smashing down on Tims. KP doesn't quite have the Reaper's sight. They are starting to slowly chip away at Skem, and the healing doesn't matter much when the Spirit Vessel's up and running. FBZ isolated in the middle, but they don't have Savage for the physical output. It's not going to be able to handle that Timbersaw, but 2-for-0, finding the supports here on Talon's end. And then Talon is starting to control this map a little bit more, Automo. 12-7, 3K lead up.
Yeah, we always talk about Nyx being kind of a bad hero, and we thought, we said if he might counter the Dawnbreaker, but Dawnbreaker is just a support, which means that, are you really gonna be happy that you countered one of the enemy supports? So this is turning pretty awkward for Boom Esports. The BKB, I believe it's on the way for Jack Boys, which is gonna help, but all that physical damage coming out from from 23 Savage will probably be killing the Razor, no problem. So what they could do is maybe they could find some pickoffs with Yopaj, and they need to give Jackboy more time to farm. He's still lowest of the cores in terms of net worth.
Yeah, but again, he's keeping up with Mikado. It just shows you how much more the Ember can do with less farm than the Razor, or equal farm than the Razor. He still has that play opportunity. Clumping up around bot, watching Mikado. Not going to be able to really run in. In fact, it's Hugh who finds him. Solar Guardian out. Should be able to find Scam as they hammer away. Now Jacky's exposed. Chains are on cooldown. Does pop the BKB. Tims is around to try and help Vendetta out. Impale onto 2. They are dropping KP awfully low, but not low enough. Boat is coming through. It's Reaper sight out onto Tims. KP dropping low. Disposed to save from Q. And they do manage to drag him out. Jackky still falls to Mikado's output. And here comes Savage with the damage coming through from that Terrorblade. FBZ is really tanky now, and KP is dead. Gets chipped away by FBZ. But Savage still going. Should find Yopaj and does. FBZ trying to play tag. Is going to try for TP.
Chains.
No chains. And not enough damage on Savage. A 3-for-3 trade, but they lose Jackky, they lose Yopaj and Boomsend.
Did they kill Scam? They killed Scam early, so I believe it's a 3-for-4 trade in favor of Talon, and they were able to get another Reaper Scythe stack on them. So overall, and that was not the way you want to use BKB if you were on Boom Esports. The first BKB of the raise, the 9-second one, you can't use it to run away. Then they're like, we used it. Let's try and force a fight. Didn't quite go well for them, and now 23 Savage. He is entering Giga Chad mode. You know, he is. 3,000 gold ahead of FBZ, more than 4,000 gold ahead of Jackboy. And how are you going to deal with this guy? Once he gets BKB on him, there's nothing that can go through him.
They catch out Q, but Skem still dropping low. Again, Spirit Vessel ruining that Enchantress. Static Link out onto KP, but not for long. Only 36 damage taken away. X Torrent onto Hyde. Are they really going to go for this play? Impale does connect. So they get the Whirling Death out as well. Managed to get that kill with the Chakram. Savage Show chipping away at FBZ. Spirit Vessel out onto the Timber Saw as well. X to stall out. And it should cut off the aggression. So a 1-for-1. Pawns 5 for Pawns 5 coming out here. But we're seeing a big difference in this game too here, Automo. KP has, despite that slower start in the laning phase, you know, maybe a little bit more equal start, KP is having a lot of impact now with his Spirit Vessel.
Yes, I mean, he's just been much more comfortable, playing much more comfortably on the Necrophos, and this is gonna come back to a little bit of the Timber Saw. You pick Timber Saw, great snowballing hero. FBZ is top of net worth for like, you know, second highest, top of his team, but hero does kind of fall off a little bit and provides you with no control, which seems like it's the SBZ special. He's going in, he's doing a lot of damage, but who's going to be actually controlling the enemy's team? Is it really going to come down to just Tim's on the next assassin?
Feels like that. I mean, you see Tim's itemizing to get a little bit more control in these fights, going for the blink. They do manage to stun up Mikado, but KP still coming in with the TP. Reaper side at the ready. Tim's gonna be a nice juicy target to get another charge, and he's just melting away. Still need to find a kill, and Q gets the rebound off instead. I mean, he's been on a roll, Q, with his Marcy, right?
Yeah.
With the blink up, he's been making a lot of plays, but they've more charges on KP here.
He took his Reaper side, dude. These supports, in my days, the supports had boots and maybe a magic stick if they were lucky.
Looking for more. Is he really gonna go for the dispose? Jackky does hold him off. Enchant is there. Impetus damage was huge. Did have the stick damage there. Max damage from max range, but just holds off the aggression out from Talon's end. And they've been buying Savage so much room. Like this terribly. Scotty up, Yasha up, BKB next. It feels like we're seeing the same issues from game 1 that Talon had to deal with. Now Boom has to contend with. Do they have enough to handle a BKB Terrorblade with a Scotty up?
No. Like, they're gonna have to find some way to get him to use it and then, like, escape, which not too bad. Like, you have a Timber Saw, maybe Timber Saw can jump in, force him to BKB, and then you can start the fight once the BKB is over. But if you're going 5-on-5 and he uses BKB and you think you're gonna win a fight, you're not. If you're Boom, like Talon, to start. Oh, they lose Scam as well.
Another little kill on the Ench, but it's getting tough for Boom, right? Like, what angles do you see Boom can take here? I mean, we're seeing Yopaj itemize for what seems to be the Hex. Is that the way to go? Hex and Ags on the Kunkka?
They recognize they have a lot of control issues. Although, this could be
Hyde. Strike out onto Hyde. They managed to get him along with a boat, but Savage is around with the damage. Boat buff is keeping FBZ alive for a lot longer. Reaper Sight doesn't do much at all, but to get the chance, the good timing. FBZ still being held behind. Savage just focusing that out, but pops the BKB, and they find that big mean Timber Saw. Jackky now, BKB static link out, just doesn't do enough, and Mikado's on the chase. Finds Schem, beat down from Q with a toss back on the dispose. And Boom, 3-for-1. They toss so much just to find Hyde.
There's like I said, there's just no way they can beat 23 Savage in a fair fight. You know, you gotta get the BKB out of the way. They were able to burst down Hyde early, but who cares? And right, that's a freebie.
But here comes KP, no Reaper's Sight, but is holding them back. Reflection out along with Ghost Route slow. Tim's will fall. Yopaj still has that BKB to escape, still has the X boat, and does slow out the Roshan, but Talon not going to overextend here. That does take away Metamorphosis, so not enough time to go for the Rosh. DD is sitting bot, but Boom, I mean, they're tossing out so much that it's back to what you said earlier, Automo. That control is biting them here.
I was thinking maybe that we might see Kunkka go for the Agons. He does have it queued up after. I like that choice a lot because you do need some stuns on your team. I don't know if the Hex is going to be enough And we go back to the draft and we talk about the weakness of Razor. Razor does not like illusion heroes because you just make illusions that deal as much damage as you, and they suffer hide. Might be a sacrificial lamb here.
Cops the smoke. That was a 4-man smoke out from Boom. Only find hide once more, and just both of those moves, it's always hide or finding. It just doesn't feel like that big kill you want on Boom right now. It does still allow that acceleration for Yopaj, right? Like the Hex and Ags, and even Jackky is only the recipe away from his full refresh. So at least you'll have more BKB and more static link to deal with here. That
I don't know if
could
it'll
be
matter.
something good.
Yeah, but that's the problem, right? Like we just saw 23 Savage, like I said, he gave him a beatdown. He's like, you think you could get it? He took 122 damage, it didn't matter. So I don't feel like an extra BKB is gonna help. It's nice, but the problem is that it's like more like an armor thing. They need to get armor on the Razor, because well, 40 armor is nothing.
Yeah, they got Savage with a little bit of an X torrent in the Chakram, but not confident enough to jump that terribly with 3.3k HP. Still going for it. Dispose out again from Q with a blink onto Yopaj. Nice impale onto 2. Mikado still pops a BKB on the run. Metamorphosis still off cooldown. There it was, coming out along with a Solar Guardian and Reaper's Sight, and they find that kill. Mikado ping-ponging around, looking for Yopaj. Has a chance, gets him lucky with the creeps, and they find another 2-0, taking out the 2 tanky heroes up front. And with the fresh Metamorphosis, this could be the Roshan for Talon opening up.
And I thought that this, like, one team is going to run away with this game. This series is in for a rude awakening. These two teams are very even. Game 1, Boom Esports looks really strong. Game 2, Talon fighting back incredibly well here. And this looks like it's going to be the Aegis for 23 Savage. Boom! I don't know what their window is to come back into this, unfortunately. Yes, the refresher is going to come out Razor, and I like that he's got this plate mail because we said he needs armor. Maybe with the plate mail he can take a fight.
Yeah, it does at least provide a little bit more durability out with that itemization, but so far we're just not feeling them last long enough. But if they do get the boat out, it does feel like that's Boom's opening, right? Get the boat onto your 3 cores, and suddenly this game is
alive.
Extremely, these fights are extremely stalled out for Talon, which they had issues with game 1 as well with Skem's healing. So I think maybe that's what we have to look for from Boom. You've got the blink up on Tim's. Like, at this point, you know, you look at this Enchantress as well from Scam. He's going Dragonlance. Maybe the idea now is to get more itemization on that Ench, you know, as we saw Q do before in the DPC.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think that's too bad of an idea. They realize, listen, maybe we're gonna have to switch carries. 23 Savage, can you buy the sentries? And we'll have the Scam just go, you know, go all in for the Dragonlance to try and do some damage. It is pure damage with the impetus. It doesn't care about Terrablaze armor. It could make a big difference for them. Mikado, it's like he's gonna be out, even though they kind of see him. So I like that. I don't know if it's a pretty bad situation to be in when your supports have to make damage. But at least Boom is adjusting and they're not rolling over.
Yeah, they are trying to get that done. Dragonlance should be available for Scam if he wants to buy out. The side of Talon starting to play in that top jungle. And Boom also avoiding the playing bot. Creep wave is coming in, so a tier 2 for Talon to take once more. Looks like a tier 2 trade down bot as well. So Boom should have an avenue to at least take that opposite jungle. Although Mikado is diving in, he manages to count out Jackky. A beautiful route onto 2. Solar Guardian is blocked off, but they find the 2 kills they need. KP with a Reaper Sight off as well, and now Tim's can't do much as Q is just going in like a madman with that blink. Chasing down FBZ. He doesn't even have backup here, Q. He's still going.
It's like, guys, watch this. You just help me out when you can. A little lucky for them that Jack Boys decided not to use the BKB. That's a pretty big opening. He does not have buyback, and 23 Savage, he's just gonna go for the base. At this point, you're kind of thinking this could be 1 racks, 2 racks as well, but if you go top, Boom Esports, very tough situation to be in right now.
Yeah, they don't have that hold. And how are you feeling about the high ground defense of Boom? Do they have enough, even with their full 5-man, to hold off this push?
I mean, the best thing they have is what? The Timber Saw throwing out Chakrams? That's not exactly incredible. Yopaj, if you can go and get a Tidebringer hit, that's great, but there's a chance, you know, he stays a little bit too long. He has to export himself, and it looks like it's going to be 2 easy racks for them. By the time Jackboy is up, this meal rack should be down.
Yeah. Still chipping away, but the TP defense coming in. It's nice blink out. Earth Spike onto one.
Nice
Sunder out from Savage. Show us they are clumping around. They can't find Mikado. He manages to get away with great dispose from Q. Yopaj trying to TP away. Is taken out. Savage still has that Aegis. Doesn't care to lose his first life. Is melted down by FBZ. And they lose Mikado as well. Boom finding some kills now, but the dispose again from Q, forcing the buyback onto Tims. They're still dancing around. KP starting to drop really low. Gets the Yulesoft to hold FBZ back. Not quite healed up here though. Trying to find more. Scam does get the Ghost Seeker onto him. And Q's looking to hammer in. Does get stunned up. And Q is going to be putting Impale Impetus. Yeah, enough damage on the rebound out. Mikado with the tip. Going a bit ham, but he does get some good saves. And they do force at least one buyback out. They get the melee racks as well. And Boom has some fight left in them here, Optimal.
Still a huge win for Talon though. Like, you know, you were able to get the mid racks, you got the board racks to the top side as well. So it's not like they're worried. I'm kind of wondering if maybe Q would, if he had used the smoke, if he was far enough that it would have dodged the impetus, but didn't matter in the end. And Scam. Well, I'll miss you, buddy.
Yeah,
or maybe he'll live.
He's stalling out. He was broken, but the break is gone. Savage now forced to TP out in a dire situation. No stun from Tims. Very fortunate he bails out KP on the cliff side. Should be able to TP as well. Solar Guardian just to dodge. And do manage to escape on Talenton, cutting the losses. A bit of an awkward topsy-turvy fight, but they don't lose much. They do manage to, you know, just reset and boom. They're playing at the 16k deficit here, Otimo. What's the game plan? Because we have the Hex on Yopaj. What else do we have to wait out for?
Let's see. Do they have? Well, and they also got the plate mill on the Razor, which is going to help them out with the physical damage. Smoke comes out from Talon. If you are Boom, you want to try and get a pick off here.
No, they find it.
Jumping in.
Breakout, just not that durable on that Timber Saw at this point in the game. 30 minutes in, and Mikado, he's got the axe. He's dancing around. He finds the Yopaj, doesn't get the chains in time. Just not quick enough on the zip back. So Boom cut their losses, 31-16. Double damage for Mikado to pick up. Tim's not going to play tag there. So more output.
And there's a DZ Ruin Mikado. He's the one who puts it in his ball. We'll see if you can share that with the the Terrorblade. Mikado is going in for Scam.
Going for Scam, getting some damage off. Does have KP around with Spirit Vessel and Reaper Sight just to get that kill. 6 stacks up on KP. 24 HP regen and 12 mana regen. Seems pretty good.
Seems very balanced, isn't it? I was surprised that we see that Necrophos got popular, whereas Axe with the bonus armor, people are like, yeah, we don't really care about that. Looks like Scam does buyback, recognizes, yeah, we gotta defend the bottom lane. FBZ has buyback as well, but it's in an awkward time where it's like, I could kind of hold on to it, but I might have to use it.
Dispose again
Scam.
from Q onto Scam. Instant dieback on the Ench. And it's not stopping that push. Great impale out though. Refresh BKB used up. Static Link fully on Savage. Not looking through this. Does have a Sunder opportunity if he wants to, and still turns around. Sunder onto KP. Full health once more onto Savage. Losing a lot of damage, but they're jumping in. Ridpack's alive. Cutting through the backline for Mikado. Another dispose out, and the GG's called by Boom. Talon brings something out the bag. Maybe inspired by Boom with the opening, but it does work out for them in this game number 2 here, Optimal.
Yeah, I mean, that Wraith back at the end, we actually saw 22 Savage go down. Pretty low HP. Maybe if that Wraith back wasn't around, the extra damage, the damage that was reduced.
But it's too late now. I remember you and me, and how careless we could be.
All day and all night, we'd stay up, it felt so right. We were so young, we were so dumb. We would get drunk and then hook up. We were okay, we were alright, staying awake till the sunrise. We were in love, couldn't stop us, like a good drug, never enough. We'd hook up in my car, driving so far, play you guitar, you'd show me your art, let down our guards, think with our hearts, stare at the stars. We were never apart, drinking too young, way too much fun, out in the sun, open when it's gone. Took you to prom, dance to our song, dance all night long till the lights come on.
It's too late now. I
It's too late now, I remember everything, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be. And how careless we could be. And how careless we could be. Late nights, long fights, it felt right, we were alive. We would go out, we were so loud, we were so proud, we had no doubts. Weekends and weekdays, we'd spend our own way. We were careless, we were fearless, we were reckless, time was precious.
We loved to waste time, whiskey and wine, drinking all night, asleep by your side. Finally alive, we would just drive, never arrive. Our journey was live, staying out late, testing our fate, running away. We live for today, young and so bold, never get old. Screw what we're told, we can't be controlled.
It's too late now, I remember everything, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be, and how careless we could be. And how careless we could be. And how careless we could be. And how careless we could be.
Too late now, I remember you and me, and how careless we could be.
Yeah, I don't believe in destiny, I just do what's best for me. Don't listen to my enemies, they're just full of jealousy. Yeah, this legacy, you gon' see what's left of me. You gon' see success in me, you ain't seen the rest of me. I just wanna be the best at what I know, better than the rest, just watch me grow. Put me to the test and watch me go. This is my quest, I'ma make it known. They call me obsessive, oh I know. Call me selective with my notes, call me aggressive with my flow, call me offensive even though
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, life's tough. Try to get by, life's rough. Try to do it right, it's not enough. Even though you try, you still mess up. But I'm still gonna fight for what I love. Still gonna die for what I love. Still gonna try, I won't give up. Still gonna fight until I've won. They say I'm way too obsessed and I've got nothing left, and I'm not quite there yet, but those words they'll regret. Cause I've got something left and I'm not giving in. I will not let them win, I won't stop till the end, no.
working hard and learning, never stopping searching. Yeah, it's burning, all this passion hurts me. I took action working, writing down these words.
No, I'm not okay, I just wanna be something. I don't wanna be nothing, living all alone. No, I'm not alright, I'm just barely getting by. But I'll tell you I'm just fine, so you leave me alone. They say I'm way too obsessed and I've got nothing left. And I'm not quite there yet, but those words they'll regret. Cause I've got something left and I'm not giving in. I will not let them win, I won't stop till the end, no.
Yeah. Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now, I made mistakes but now I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home. On my own, in the zone, that's the only way I know. Feeling low, about to blow back up. Here I won't ever let the doubt creep in. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, it's so cold outside, I'm alone. Break down, always feel like I could break now, but I never let it take me to that place now. I won't ever let
I didn't think that there's nothing wrong with Timbersaw, but maybe they rely on FBC Surf to provide a lot of control. You know, that's what we see him do with the Mars, with the Dawnbreaker when they succeed. So I'm glad they're taking away from that damage because there was a lack of stuns in Game 2. And I think Boom Esports, they're starting already to adjust that. They're like, yep, let's go with the Dawnbreaker from the start. Talon actually took that in Game 2 as a support, but Boom is not like that good. Not letting it slip twice from their hand.
Yeah, not going to be allowing that to come out once more. And Talon going to have to shake things up because, again, you look at Boom's ban consistently in the series, it's all been those KP specials immediately taken out. Now, Talon, though, go into the Marcy and the Enigma once more. So that should already be our KP and Q heroes on hand. In Marcy Enigma lane. Not the most aggressive, but it is something that builds up. But Boom just straight into Rubik. Of course, you see the Enigma, you take the Rubik. We already saw Tims have a fantastic Rubik game in game number 1. Do you think this Enigma is going to do a lot here in Talon? Because in Southeast Asia, it feels extremely hit or miss.
I was thinking the same. There's two kind of issues with it. One of them you mentioned is the Rubik. The other one is that whenever you get Black Hole on anyone, Dawnbreaker can just show up as long as she's not caught, you know, provides a ton of heal and just stuns the Enigma when she lands. Another thing is Boom might try to swap lanes to put the Dawnbreaker against Enigma. I was playing Dawnbreaker. I know people love stories from the Guardian pubs. I'm Guardian 3, by the way. But when you Dawnbreaker, you can take a couple points of Starbreaker and just kill the Eidolons very easily. So I do think Boom Esports might be like, all right, wherever Enigma goes, we want to put the Dawnbreaker there just so you can neuter that advantage of the Eidolons.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for KP to get max value from the Eidolons in lane. He's still going to get denies, but that's a good amount of gold to bleed out to a support. if that is what Boom wants to do, what is Dawnbreaker maybe playing it on a 5 as we saw Talon do in game 2. Still further developments in the bans. Boom does ban out the Savage Terrorblade. So they're targeting the pause ones a little bit more. Talon as well, taking care of that Wraith King that Jackky used to play a lot of, especially in his Motivated Trust days again. So lots of respects for those pause ones. That does leave a lot more Yopaj and Mikado heroes in the pool though. Almost no mid ban outs here. So you have the options, especially for Yopaj. The Ember, the Invoker, the Puck, his Bat Rider, his Tiny, his Quap is all still there. Same thing goes for Mikado. Do you reckon leaving all those mids for both sides is a great idea? Because they're banning out Savage Specials on Boom. Like they take out the Void now, which only really Talon plays to very often in these games.
5 seconds remaining.
Is leaving this wide mid pool kind of the go-to now, or do you reckon that's going to cause some issues for both sides?
It's just like a game of Dota where you can never solve every problem. It's very clear that the first 2 bans for both teams are trying to get rid of those offlaners. Like you mentioned, Brewmaster, as well as Mars, even the Death Prophet, like they're trying to get rid of KP and FBZ, trying to control them a little bit. And then the second set of bans has been the carries. They've realized that in game 1, Jack Boy's insane performance, game 2, it's all 23 Savage. So you can't like shut down everything. Like if they ban like an Ember Spirit, yeah, maybe limit them a little bit, but they're just saying like we do not want to go up against very specific heroes. They want to just like focus on one player at a time. Bat Rider does come out though, so that is a bit of a change for Boom Esports. Getting rid of, I guess that could be a mid Bat Rider. There's a chance it's a support Enigma, by the way.
Yeah, it's still there for Talon, although I believe every single time they do pick up the Enigma, it tends to be the KP hero, but they also tend to last pick it. Yeah, it's like support Enigma. I mean, considering how Q and Hyde play, it just feels really passive, right? Like they take activity, especially in that game 2 with the Dawnbreaker and Marcy combo. We saw Q just going completely insane on that hero. You see the tiny ban out from Talon. So again, respecting Yopaj's performance on that hero the past day now, and gonna have to show us what they want to do. This next pick should solidify where we see that Enigma. Is there any way to still like make this an easier Enigma game, or does the Rubik just kind of ruin that possibility? The Rubik and the Dawnbreaker both.
Man, I want to say Monkey King. I was gonna, but I was like, I can't interrupt my good friend John. But yeah, I really want to say the Monkey King was gonna come up next for Talon because it works super well with Enigma, the double circle. And Enigma, I mean, if you're Enigma, you could get the BKB and the Lincoln Sphere, but it's a huge shopping list. We've also seen like there's trends with the Enigma. Sometimes they go, ooh, look at that. So it's going to be the FBZ Dawnbreaker for sure, and the Yopaj Invoker. That's pretty solid because once you get the black hole, Invoker can just throw Sunstrike or Cataclysm. You can even use Cataclysm just to find the Monkey King. It's a good amount of damage, but look at how sort of squishy the backline is for Boom Esports. You're up against a Monkey King and a Marcy. You should be able to catch these Chen and Rubik quite easily. And Talon could also go for some sort of a very aggressive mid laner because Invoker mid tends to not give you that much early on. So we'll see what they want to go for here. Mikado was pretty good with the Ember Spirit. And although Ember Spirit versus Invoker is not a very fun matchup, I prefer the Puck.
Oh, okay. So we get the Mikado Pangolier instead picked up here. Game 1, not the best showing, and he's still picking the Pango into Tim's Rubik, which we saw be a massive issue. So that rolling cube is still going to be there from Boom. I mean, I have my question marks about the Pango. I still have my question marks about this Chen from Boom. You mentioned Skem enjoying these healing heroes. Is Chen really that good as a healing hero? I mean, sure, Hand of God got buffed a bit. That's kind of nice. Is that really enough?
No, but I mean, you are getting other sources of heal as well, like the Solar Guardian plus the Chen heal. That's a pretty good amount. Like, it does nullify quite a lot of damage from the Enigma, not as much from the Monkey King. But Pangolier in this game, I don't know. You give Rubik such a good spell with the Rolling Thunder. It's, I believe it is going to be the Tims this time, not Skim, but it's just, I don't know. It seems very risky for them. Maybe they're going to flex it. Maybe it's a support Enigma and off lane, but the problem still exists no matter what you do. Boom Esports, they do believe also... Sorry, they believe it's going to be a mid Pangolier, so they're getting rid of some of KP's heroes. Nekro's still in the pool, but I think Talon might want something with a little bit more control here.
Yeah, the Necro, I mean, we saw it kind of do pretty good in game number 2. It doesn't feel like gives enough presence if you do shift that Enigma to 5. I think that's the issue. I still feel like that's going to be the KP here, but last picking, say, Q or Hyde is not generally what Talon does, so perhaps still gunning for that flex. I don't also believe that KP plays a lot of Timbersaw nowadays, at least not as much as FBZ, and that FBZ still picks it every now and again. So the last pick for Talon going to be an interesting one. They do have last pick overall. Boom will have to reveal their cards first. Any big core matchups still left here for Jack to fall back to, Ottomo?
For Jack, let's see. I want to say something like a Life Stealer, but there's not much. Like, you can't really save anyone who's been caught by Black Hole because you might just be caught yourself when you try to infest them. Juggernaut. So a lot of the physical damage heroes aren't ideal because you're up against a Monkey King. It could be a pretty good Razor game, actually. Like, for Boom Esports, I'd say you want to go Razor again. Just maybe not suffer as much in the laning stage because you use the static link on the Monkey King. You just stand there, the Wukong, and you don't really care. You're just going to take all his damage. Enigma's damage is just not generally going to be enough to kill you if you're full HP. And once you get BKB, Pangolier is not a problem. So if I was Jack Boys, I'd say, guys, I know game 2 didn't go our way. Let's go for Razor.
Yeah,
let's try again.
The Razor pick does look really good here for Boom if they want it. Gonna have to show their cards first. Talon will have a little bit of room to adjust. Again, not too much. It feels like the Enigma kind of makes this draft awkward. They go with the Nature's Prophet instead. So they've got this almost global lineup, right? Teleportation in, Dawnbreaker, Solar Guardian in as well. Sunstrike from a million miles away from Yopaj.
Chen Heal.
And Chen Heal as well to sustain globally. So Boom can play this really run-and-gun draft. Do you enjoy seeing this, though? Like, I'm trying to recall, Jackky is not a very big +1 Nature's Prophet player, at least not in the same vein as, say, Natsumi. So, or in the same vein as even Skem when he was playing +1. Maybe he picked up some tricks there, but how are you liking overall this Boom draft? Is it enough with this global ganking?
It feels very squishy on their side, honestly. Like, look at Dawnbreaker's tanky, but after that, the other 4 relatively easy to bring down, especially the Sports and Vulcanized Prophet. Yeah, they got some decent stats, and especially if you get BKB, but you can bring them down. Pangolier should also just roll in. Like, you can't, the two cores, Nature's Prophet and Vulcan, they don't move. They're not very mobile. And look at that!
Oh God, no! Oh,
yay!
Okay.
It's the 23 Savage Alchemist. So is it gonna be what, support Monkey King, or is it gonna be off lane Pango? Yeah.
No,
There you go.
It's the Mikado Pango coming out. Savage Alch. Now, Talon has picked up this Alchemist multiple times. Well, not multiple, but once before. They gave it to KP. They gave it to Savage this time. Up against potentially the Dawnbreaker. It looks good. What makes this Alchemist nice for you here, Otto?
I just feel like he'll be able to outscale the Nature's Prophet by a lot. They don't really see. I don't think they have the damage on Boom Esports to deal with him. Like once these guys Chemical Rage up, there's just no way they can go through him. He can also just frontline for his team. You can put the BKB, gives everyone vision. Plus, you have Hyde to do the same thing for you. And yeah, it just looks like a really solid pick. I don't think the Tims and FBZ will be able. Sorry. Oh, it's gonna be the carry. Carry Dawnbreaker.
Oh, okay. Now I'm excited.
We messed up.
Yeah,
okay,
FBZ playing the off lane NP. And Jackky on the safe lane Dawn. Now, safe lane Dawn is pretty damn fun, right? Like the itemization's almost the same. BKB, Blank, Shard. You can go for the Deso a little bit faster if you want, and then maybe a Basher. Does the Dawnbreaker do enough against the Alch towards the late game? Like, say you could have a Spirit Vessel answer from Yopaj, and BKB on Alch or a Manta might be enough. Is that still enough from Jackky?
No, I still favor Talon's draft quite a bit, but you did make a good point about Yopaj getting that fast vessel. Alchemist, you want to get the Radiance, oftentimes you want to get the Blink Dagger after, then you want to get the BKB. It does give enough time for Yopaj. Get a Spirit Vessel, maybe a couple of kills off, slowing him down. So, and Boom Esports has a pretty solid push lineup, can go pretty aggressive if they want to. Maybe try to end the game before 23 Savage is fully online. But ultra late game, I just favor Talon by quite a lot.
Now we'll see if Talon can hit that ultra late game. I think the one ace up the sleeve here for Boom is that Tim's Rubik, which is highlighted here in the versus screen. I mean, again, he had fantastic game 1 with all those stolen rolls. He's got Black Hole to steal. He's got the roll to steal. He's got Wukongs. He's got a lot under his tool belt here in this game. So it feels like this game will actually be on the back of Tim's and possibly Yopaj here as well. But gonna be a really interesting game 3 here, Ottoman. I mean, for the past day yesterday, we were seeing almost samey drafts coming out from teams. This has been very different from the first 2 games. Right? You see some heroes like the mid Pango, but everything else is just different.
Yeah, I love that we have an Enigma. I love that we have an Alchemist. I love that we have a carry Dawnbreaker. Yeah, I just love that Tim's on the Rubik. We saw Skem Rubik, and I imagine Tim's will be able to do just as spectacularly, if not more. You touched upon the black hole being stolen, and I think that makes Tim's pretty much almost the most important player on Boom Esports side, because if he can get those black holes, he can turn tough fights around. If not, 5-on-5, it's just too risky. KP has to be careful not to give away black hole too often, but if he doesn't, they should be fine on Talon.
Yeah, it's a lot in the line. We should see a really flashy game coming out from both sides here. Keen to see what Boom does. I mean, this Chen pickup from Boom still puts a question mark on my head. Like I'm still kind of wondering. Not the biggest fan right now. Like, it can be nice. You have some healing auras playing tag right now, but I don't know. Stun off onto FBZ. Hyde getting some hits off, trying to build up the Jingu. Not really able to tank through the damage from those Treants coming out. With the Blightstone out on FBZ, so a lot of minus armor at work. Gonna end up being a 2-for-2 in the bounties, and a 3-for-1 actually in Talon's favor. But we'll take a look at that top lane first off. Savage on the Elk.
Yopaj, he needs to get the earn, and he's just, Invoker takes a bit of time to get online. So I'm happy to see what Mikoto's doing with the Pangolier. Bottom lane though, KP, he is very far out of experience range, only level 2. Jackky is level 2 as well. He's denying on KP's side, but at the same time he can't actually go close. It's very dangerous for Yopaj. So I'll just drop a little bit.
Yeah, just trading back and forth a bit. That bot lane's still a bit painful for KP. Jackky does have the clear for the Eidolon, so he can't even use the Eidolons to kind of shore up some farm here on KP. A bit of an early TP out from Q onto the mid, looking for a play onto Yopaj. Rebound ready, Dispose is there as well, but the Tornado cuts them off. Still has the Dispose though. Onto Yopaj, Mikado not getting the damage he needs. Does have the Swash. Q's starting to drop low and is going to be sacrificed, but here comes Hyde early on with a rotation. Invis tossed out. They do drop the sentry, still keeping chase. They find Yopaj isolated. Tree cut from Yopaj. Let's slow this down. And I lose a lot of packets there. They lose Hyde as well. Mikado still on the run. Wants two more hits. Can he get them? Is netted up, and the rotation from Talon a bit too greedy. Boom with a response saves Yopaj.
A little early going in with the Marcy right there. Q jumps in before Hyde's ready, and they lose 3 people. Yopaj. I mean, we said I said Invoker would have a sort of slower lane, but you give him 3 kills like that, he's gonna be very happy. Little bit too aggressive from Talon Esports side.
And look at Yopaj now, halfway to 6. Great level lead over Mikado. That early roll not going to be coming out anytime soon. Q still hanging around, rebounds once more, but the Tornado EMP is there. That will force Talon back. Pressure onto Yopaj just not panning out. There's pressure onto KP here as well. Held back, taken away by Jackky. The Enigma just off to that slow start. You could argue the same for FBZ. He's dropping low up top. Not quite enough to get the kill. Savage is recovering in that top Alchemist at the least.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Boom Esports has a 1,000 gold lead 5 minutes in against the Alchemist lineup means that Talon is really doing bad, like really suffering in this lane right now. One thing that Hyde needs to be careful of is whenever he's on trees, just you can do a Nature's Cause, drop him down. Could be a big problem for him. Q's coming top though.
Looking to be aggressive, but that mobility is scouted out by the Treants. So not going to be able to get too aggressive here onto FBZ. Down mid, we do see a little bit of a run around here from Skem, using that Holy Persuasion really well with his creep army. Farming out the small camp, cutting off Mikado's source of farm, and just getting some good roots off with the creeps. So, again, just getting the aggression you'd want to see from the Chen. His early impact has been great. There is a scan out from Talon. They do spot FBZ in that jungle. Are they going to try to make a play? Hyde scouting out. Rebound again, ready on Q. You see FBZ. Are they enough with just the 2 supports here? It doesn't look like they'll fully commit. It's down mid. They're jumping onto Mikado. Cold snap there, EMP as well. No swash, but does have the shield crash up top. So Mikado is going to be safe. They still are surrounding, but they secured a regen rune for Yopaj. Going to be feeling great for that. And again, just emphasizing mid. Playing really well with his early aggression. Even FBZ showing up for that shove in.
Kodo still not level 6. She get level 6 if she could just get a couple of creeps for him.
And rooted up, Holy Persuasion
Savage is here.
Gets the Malefice, but Savage showing up. Tornado does cut him off. Can he actually use this unstable concoction? No, he cannot. Cut off the aggression, but that's so many heroes showing up to stop that. It's 5 heroes from Talon on mid, freeing up the side lanes in a big way for Boom.
I mean, Jack Boys is ahead in terms of net worth of the 22 Savage Alchemist. That is not something we expected to see at all. And that's pretty damn risky for Talon Esports. Moving 23 Savage to try to defend mid lane. Yeah, it's an important tower, but just cost him so much time, so much momentum. So Boom really feeling it right now.
They're just getting that aggression they want here on Boom, forcing these movements out, taking control. Now they isolate KP. They know no one's around KP once more. Tims is ready here, along with Skem. Hammer thrown out by Jackky. Not really able to gap close. But this Enigma has had such a rough game. Bottom network core barely above Skem's Chen right now. The build-up, it just doesn't feel like it will come out fast enough. It looks like a raid pack is lined up for KP. But it's already a tough Enigma game, right? Like, as we've been talking about throughout the draft, like, Tims is there with a Rubik. It just doesn't feel like KP's game will get any easier as this game scales on.
And also, it does feel like maybe this might be one of those Blink Dagger games. I know he wants the Wraith back. It's a great item. You know, it gives you extra damage, versus the enemy's damage. It's just an extra target. But you might need the the Blink Dagger, so you can actually jump and catch the Rubik. You know, it's like walking in slowly with just boots. Might make it very easy for Tims to steal the Black Hole.
Yep. Do want to try to walk down. FBZ does rotate back onto the mid. Has his level 6 up, level 3 Nature's Call ready. So they can get that push going once more with a Frost Armor as well to play with from Skem. Mikado and Hyde holding this mid. We do spot Q out on the side. We'll be able to find that Marcy, no problem. So a bit of a slower game for Q here as well. And still managing to get that shove in down mid. FBZ, again, just confident enough to show up early. Tower doesn't take too long to push down with the damage on FBZ. Even Skem again just coming in to ensure. So a very early mid to take, 8.5 minutes in. It's going to cut off a lot of control Talon wants to maintain with the Alchemist.
We remember you were talking about how you don't like the Chen for Schem. I'm not a big fan of it as well, but if you go with that, you build some aura items, you go, you have the creeps, you have the Nature's Prophet, suddenly it makes a lot more sense that, with that fast push lineup. Because we talked about, like, late game, I still think Talon can take it. They do have the Alchemist with the Enigma, it's just very strong. But, boom, very fast play so far. Already take that mid-tier 1, while theirs is just full HP.
Yeah, just no shove-in coming out from Talon, and they're just kind of forced to respond. They've got two really slow side laners, Alk and the Enigma. Just doesn't feel like they're going to be able to make some plays just yet. You do have the black hole ready on KP. Again, no angle. Bit of a clump up here, looking at Savage. Still trying to farm that small camp, but everyone's coming out from
Yopaj is here.
Yopaj around as well with the ghost form up.
Are scanning.
Not going to be able to find Savage. Does back off in the nick of time. Hyde hanging the tree line as well.
Oh, he knows.
And does cop the Ghost Walk as well. So they know Yopaj is playing. They drop the sentry. Yopaj going to be backing off, and Savage just TPs away. This could be a free objective for Boom to find, as they have committed, but they're dodging out with the Alk at least.
Yeah, as long, I mean, 22, he's staying alive, and that's that's the most important thing. Meanwhile, Mikoto's top lane as well. So is Hyde. Do they want to take a fight here? They spot Yopaj. They have the detection on the Monkey King if they want to go for it.
Ooh.
They need to make a move at some point, though. They're just posturing right now.
Well, force out the tornado. Tower is still set to fall. Fortify is out. And Mikado is not keen. Just 2 against 2 heroes here. Tree hanging on the side. Just not going to be comfy enough. Boom going to find themselves another free tower to take, as Talon has no response as of yet. And this pace of game, again, you mentioned Talon wanting to take it later. Is Boom finding enough to kind of deny that late game of Talon here?
Yes, they're doing like what they need to. They are pushing the lanes pretty hard. They took the mid as well as the top, and now you see 23 Savage. He's like, the only really safe farm I have is the triangle. We might see Boom considering going to bottom lane, or they might just try to get tier 2 just to close out the map. It is shrinking a little bit for 23 Savage, and the other 2 cores are also struggling. Mikoto not so much, but KP is a little bit behind right now. And he does have the Vlads. I don't know if this is the item that you need this game. We'll see if if the Wraith Pact, gives him the space he needs later on.
Yeah, that does feel like it's gonna have to be that, because just leaving it at Vlad's, it's not gonna be too impactful. So see if KP gets that timing he wants. Smoke out from Boom.
23 Savage.
Yopaj scouting around with Tims onto Savage. They do manage to find him. Tornado EMP along with a Solar Guardian here. Jack is ready to play, and they just burst down Savage. No protection for the Elk. And Talon caught with their pants down, not able to do much about that.
Yeah, I mean, we just said that, right? We said they took the 2 tier 1s. That means that only the only place 23 Savage wants to play is this triangle. And then they just smoke up there. So Boom, they just read the plan from Talon perfectly. They're like, all right, we know where he's going to be, because there's only one place he can go to. They do have decent vision, but Tims drops a sentry, takes away their observer as well. They have 2 wards. Sorry, they have observer ward for Boom Esports on Talon's triangle.
Yeah, they've got great scouting there as to where Savage might want to farm. And looks like Talon, the name of the game's just stalled. 6-1 so far. Getting encircled there. Hyde scouting around on the Monkey. Not able to do too much to play just yet. Just going to be farming up. Q still working onto his Blink. Maybe that's a timing Talon can play with, as we've seen before. Echo Saber already up in Jackky here. So Dawnbreaker's starting to hit a lot harder, building up into the Luminosities a lot quicker as well. And
okay, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they can do with this Blink dagger on Q, like you were mentioning, because I was thinking that they might need a Blink on. Oh well, it doesn't matter. They might have a fight here. Eidolon stolen, and Yopaj, he finds Q.
Yeah, they managed to hammer him down. They cut the tree line of Hyde as well with KP. With a Midnight Pulse. Wukong still coming out, but Hyde is already low. Set for dead, is dropped off. KP follows as well. And Talon just avoiding as much as they can, but giving Boom these openings to work the map. Bot tower gonna go down next. Fortify forced out. Buying space for the Elk, but so much of the map is just shrinking.
It's so telegraphed when the Enigma doesn't have a Blink dagger. It's just so obvious. It's like, oh guys, there he is. We see him. He walks in. You can see he's gonna do a black hole, and Yopaj says, "Ah, just throw a tornado. I don't have to worry about you coming out of nowhere." So, and I'm guessing they want to use the Q Blink dagger to sort of solve that problem. Maybe we catch one and then keep each other out of nowhere. But it's it's too awkward. They kind of need this Blink Dagger from KP. He's very close to the Wraith Pact though, only about a couple hundred gold away, then maybe we'll work towards it.
Yeah, starting to build up, and they have stalled out enough for Savage to at least have that Radiance up going into the BKB next. And Boom's done a great job of just blocking off the camps though. Large camp blocked along with the Ancient, so a lot of resources Hyde will have to invest to open up that jungle once more. He does not have an additional sentry for the large camp. And Boom, without opening, just goes straight into Roche. They've got the damage coming through. With their lineup,
No
they don't need too
hole.
much with a lot of summons. No black hole to counteract this from Talon, and Roche will just fall to the creep army. So the Zoom mate is still there. Scan is out though. Talon are sort of in position to try, but it's a tough one to angle into.
It's a very quiet game for Mikoto, by the way. I just realized he's got one death and that's it. That's his whole game so far. Level 10, so they're just not really involved right now. At least not really involved so far. It is a 23 Savage show, but I feel like Talon's given out, not given, but sorry, Boom's just been able to take so much out of the map that I don't know if 23 Savage is gonna have enough space. Which is what, you know, it's a great game plan by Boom.
Yeah, they're just forcing them to go all in on the Elk. And they still maintain that network lead against the Elk. A 2k above for Savage on everyone else, but a 2k lead overall for Boom with how slow everyone else has had here. Mainly on the supports, like Q and Hyde are very, very poor in comparison to Tims and Skem. So you're not getting that build-up you want. Clump up top. Mikado just trying to clear out the creep wave. Does look like he's saving up for his Yules here for the chain stuns. We'll have that in short order, but this push from Boom. They've got some wave clear in Talon, but doesn't feel like they're really able to do much.
Mikoto, silenced here. Tornado.
Easy, does manage to spot him with the treants, and Mikado is just stuck. No BKB, no Yules up, is taken away. And Boom should be able to find that tier 2 up top with no contestation. Talon just unable to do much. They forced the Fortify out. And stalling it out just a little bit, but the next creep wave is here. The army's still around. Skem even smokes up to save his own creeps. And they'll just get straight to it.
I like what they did with the Aegis, by the way. They gave it to Yopaj, not to Jackboy, because they're like, all right, Yopaj is going to be usually the front line. He's either going to walk in, you know, with his Ghost Walk. If he dies, it's, you know, we want him to have a second life. Whereas Jackboy is going to enter the fight a bit later with the Solar Guardian. He's not as threatened. So very nice sort of prioritization. And plus, I think Dawnbreaker is going to have the BKB delivered momentarily.
Savage in the firing line here. Yopaj
No
sees
BKB.
him. No BKB just
It's on the
yet.
courier, I think.
They didn't manage to catch him out fully. The Orchid is there. Solar Guardian out as well, and Savage is taken out.
On the courier.
Hyde still trying to fix up the situation with Wukongs. Isn't really able to help. Trying to dodge out. Tree line isn't cut. So Hyde does manage to run away. Savage, just unfortunate timing. BKB on the courier. Doesn't find it in time. KP does have Black Hole, but they don't have a follow through. They do find Tims for the Eidolons. That is something with KP still in danger here. Jackky pops the BKB. Chase down KP. Should be able to find him with the Starbreaker. 2 for 1. Great trade for Boom as they're just taking control in this game.
I mean, we did say Yopaj probably be able to hunt down the Alchemist. He did, but
Hunting down for more. They find Q with FBZ keeping in. Yorka just paying dividends here for FBZ. So much activity on this Nature's Prophet, and not much of an answer from Talon. 3k lead for Boom now, 12-2. I mean, you have an Alec and you're behind by that much. It just doesn't feel good.
no, it's because you're behind by a lot more than 3k realistically, you know. Because I mean, I love Alex's skills just to give you more gold, and the fact that he's not be able to do anything with that, it's tough. He's gonna go for the Blink Dagger. I feel like he's not gonna be able to really fight until he has the Salt Cuirass. Blink Dagger will help a lot, but they might just wait for the Salt Cuirass. Then we'll have to be like, we'll know. Did they make enough space for on Talon's side to give 23 Savage a fair game, or was it just like Boomies was just too aggressive? Because they've got a tier 2 top already. They've just got so much map control on their side.
Yeah, they've shut down a lot of this map, and we haven't even seen any big steals from Tims in comparison to game 1. He hasn't needed to. They just run down. They've got an amazing creep army to play with Skem. They've got the sustain coming through as well, which is actually showing up on that Chen. We haven't even seen a big Hand of God. They're just not able to rip through on the side of Talon. And a 5k lead for Boom. Things are getting very dire for Talon here. But Boom, they're looking great. Bouncing back after game 2. They are making plays down on KP as well. Raid Pack is up to stall a bit, but not going to be living through this one. Although finding the opportunity to get the stun onto Yopaj. They get the unstable concoction, but Savage is trapped up. Quelling Blade on cooldown. Held back. Solar Guardian coming through here as well. Should still find Yopaj, but he still had Aegis. Jackky rips through onto Q. Looking for more secondary life from Yopaj. Silence out onto Rapango, but stun out onto FBZ. Hand of God is out. Oh, Mikado just melts to the output. And they can't even find FBZ in the end. And Talon just lose everything. They take Aegis, but it was about to expire anyway.
Yeah, and by the way, you saw the heal coming out from Chen, keeping the FBZ alive. 23 Savage, he's forced to fight. He's got Radiance and BKB. That's just not enough right now. But he's forced to sort of fight because they're like, all right, we're just losing too much space. Where is KP on the blink dagger? He's actually not going for it. He's going for the Aether Lens first. I am very scared. He has a Tumbler toy, which is like sort of a mini blink dagger, but you need like a 3 Tumbler toys all wrapped in one if you want to use that.
Yeah, it's just not allowing him to take these fights in the way that Talon might prefer. And it just doesn't leave him with good initiation. Like, Mikado can try to come in. He only has the Yules. His output isn't that great. Going for the Maelstrom next. And just gets blown apart if he is focused down. Savage, he's in the front line. No BKB here. Might get taken out. They get the stun off onto Tim's.
Tango rolling in.
Trying to get damage onto Skem. The rolls out, just bouncing around the cliffside, not finding anyone. They do find Skem. Can they get this kill? Gonna be the third kill of the game for Talon. They do manage to find it. KP still looking for the angle for the black hole. Is silenced up. Might be able to find it. They should be able to find FBZ as well. Yopaj on the run. They only have sentries, no dust. That is probably the first favorable fight for Talon, but even then it looks pretty damn awkward to make happen.
To be fair, they didn't have to use the black hole, so they were kind of okay with it. I thought for sure KP was going to get a black hole on both Yopaj and FBZ, but a very quick Orchid from KP saves Yopaj's life. He dies in the end. It's a good move for Talon. Like, they are happy with what just happened, and they are happy that they saved the black hole as well. It makes it very awkward now for TALON Esports. Do they want to fight? We'll see. By the way, check out Skem's farm. 6,300. KP is only 7,000 farm. This is a very, very farm chin. He's actually going for a pipe, which negates a lot of the damage from the Radiance, and he already has the mech. So, Chen, basically core in this game.
He's been playing really well. That early presence out from Skem to show up mid. His micro's been on point. They catch out KP once more. And he manages to Tumbler's toy away in time. And Q jumping in. It's going to be the sacrifice here. So they still find something for their efforts. Hyde still keeping an eye out, but shouldn't have anyone to follow up from him. And
check out what
trying to stall.
Check out what 23 Savage went for. He decided not to go for the Blink Dagger or the Salt Grenade, instead going for the Heart. Just want to have as much health as possible, as much regen as possible. That is an interesting... There is no Spirit Vessel on the enemy side, by the way. Yopaj never upgraded it. And 27 is like, oh, okay. You guys are going to have damage issues, then might as well take advantage of that.
Yeah, he is going to be a long tank here with that up. You do have good physical coming out, though, with the Desolator on Jackky. So the Dawnbreaker can still be a massive burst issue right in front of you, despite all that HP. Not much armor on the Alchemist to kind of deal with that. We'll see if it will pay off, as it is 16-4 with a 6k lead for Boom. Still looking like a great game for them, and Talon still playing on the back foot. KP working onto the tracks. Do you expect it to be the Blink next for KP? You've been talking about it a lot here, Otto. Will the Blink be here, or does he feel like a BKB first?
Maybe he feels like BKB first. Oh, Hyde
jumps into the cliff spot, is spotted, but
nice
Mikado does roll up with the Blink. They still take out Hyde, but they might find Yopaj. Instant BKB though. He's going to be standing still right there. Heart's fully done on Savage, living through a lot of this. Has his own BKB ready to go. Doesn't quite pop it. Pops it now. Chasing down Skem. Not going to be able to find it. KP in the side. Black Hole just instantly cancelled. And stolen. Now the fight's falling apart. Stolen Black Hole on Tim's, ready to go. And the side of... Oh no, Savage couldn't even TP out. The Cold Snap was there, and the Alchemist, not tanky enough to live through this damage, is gonna fall.
Oh, did you see what happened with KP? Or because I think you might have been focused on a different area. He actually, like, he caught the Rubik with his stun. Rubik had Solar Guardian on him. KP was like, I'm gonna get a Black Hole on both, Jack Boys as well as Tim's. But he was still inside the Solar Guardian when he started his Black Hole. So Jack Boys just shows up, stuns him, gets the kill. Oh, top lane Q was also gonna fall. KP, that was kind of a big opening for him right there.
Oh boy. And they lose Mikado as well. Tims blows out that stolen black hole, and Talon 21-5, 10k behind. This looks like a repeat of game 1. And just not able to put that much of contestation to what Boom's doing at the moment. They're still all in on this Alk, but even that lead Savage had, it's narrowed with Jackky. 15k on Jackky, 16k on the Alk. It's not shaping up.
Is under attack.
No, but there's still a chance for Talon. Like, this is not over by any... I mean, I don't want to say by any stretch of it, but it's not over. There's still a couple of good fights left for Talon. It all comes down to if you can get a good black hole, maybe a good roll in by the Pangolier. They almost killed Yopaj there. A couple, just that roll coming in sooner could have netted them the kill. Could have gone very differently for them.
Middle tower has
But 12k behind with the Alchemist lineup, it's a big ouch.
It is a big ouch right now for Talon. We still have the AC queued up for Savage, but look at Boom, just positioning in that jungle, taking the high ground, cutting off any source for Talon to farm on, and just shutting them down. This lineup of Talon feels like it needs so much gold on the Enigma, on the Alchemist to really be big. Even the Pangolier, just with the Blink Yules, it doesn't feel enough. Like, Mikado's not durable, even with the shield crash.
Dire
And
are scanning.
I don't know, if you're Talon right now, do you just bank on the high ground defense? They're actually just going to go for a smoke. Black Hole's still on cooldown. They want to find that opening. Roshan is back up, but Boom isn't going in there as well. And they smoke on smoke.
Smoke on smoke.
Awkward situation. Q, smoke pops first, but Mikado gets to roll in, interrupts Jackky. Dispose is still there. Wukong's out from hide. Can they actually handle the Dawnbreaker? Savage managing to focus in. BKB is popped, and heal is there from Skem. So they lose Q. They pop some big spells, but nothing too much being taken. Talon misses out on an opportunity once more.
That's an interesting strategy by Talon, by the way. They want to use Q to sort of do all the catch for them, because 23 Savage did not go for Blink Dagger, neither did KP. And Mikado does have Blink Dagger, but you don't want to be the first rolling in generally. So their catch is on their support, which has made it very tough for Q to play this game. He's at, what, 0-7 at this point, relying sort of, he's like, I got Blink Dispose, but most of the time he just can't do it because they have no vision. It's a very tough game for the Marcy. Q has to do a lot. He has to do arguably the most difficult job for his team, which is just to catch the enemy.
Yeah, it's not like he has that Aether Lens just yet. He doesn't have something like the Keen Optic as well to improve range on Dispose. So catching people out is tough. Mikado being surrounded here. FBZ does come in with the Orchid, does manage to swash away, but does not have a Quelling on hand. It does have the Yules to kind of separate, but lifted up. Dispose is there, but Q's gonna be sacrificed, and they find Hyde on the back. So they already find a kill. Talon's forced to back off once more, and Boom's just playing as such a coordinated unit of 5. Again, Roshan's open, straight in, Jackky goes.
And Alchemist, he's going closer and closer to the Salt Chris. Again, the Alchemist is a threat. He is a threat, but they are maintaining, like, controlling quite well. He's actually keeping a Quelling Blade because he knows that this Nature's Prophet Sprout has been a problem for him. So I like that a lot. Like the way he's like, oh man, this is, even at this point of the game, Sprout is an issue.
Yeah, and that's without the level 20 talent coming out from FBZ as well. Once that's up, you're going to need a 4-staff on top of that as well. And it's just a tough time for Talon so far. But again, Boom just playing around his top jungle with the Aegis up, with that shard going to Jackky. He's got spell immunity on that Starbreaker now as well, so even more protection for him to do his damage up front. You've got the blink up on Tims along with the Aether Lens, so he has a terrifying range on that Dispose he stole. He's gonna have a good range to get out that black hole.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Talon, it just looks like the circumstances for them to find that opening is tough. KP has his blink up in 100 gold, so you will have that blink black hole, but you don't have BKB. You still have to deal with a Rubik. It just doesn't feel like the angles for Talon back in are easy. Yopaj trying to look for KP, Solar Guardian on top as well. They are still chasing with FBZ as well, but KP is well and out of there.
Lots of time being wasted.
Still here as well, hugging the tree line for his dear life. And does manage to blink away. Doesn't manage to break the smoke. Boom's
Blink
still
dagger.
looking for more. But there's that blink on KP.
This is they're probably gonna get like maybe one good chance to use this. If they like if they lose the next fight, that's kind of overish, but they have like 1 or 2 good chances to have a blink black hole to win the game. Check out what Hyde's doing, by the way. Take care of the couriers, being just a general nuisance on the enemy side. Oh, there's a Nature's Call.
Yeah, Hyde is just dead. Does buy some space out at the least, but that smoke play is still on from Boom. Does pop on Yopaj, looking around. Instantly onto Savage. Immediate black hole out. KP, it gets stolen by Tims, of course, and it's not enough to kill off Yopaj as well. Hand of God is out. BKB saves. Roll from Mikado amounts to nothing. And Boom, they've got the black hole now.
Arguably, that's the one time you didn't need the Blink to use the black hole. But yeah, that's very awkward. You just lost sort of your best team fight tool without getting much in return for it. You could have killed Yopaj, would have been great. And now, boom, they're feeling very confident. They're like, what are you guys actually going to do to us right now?
Yeah, they just have so much damage with Jackky. Witty alacrity onto the objectives. Doesn't take too long for that to melt out. Q doesn't manage to get the dispose. Orchid up along with a tornado. Jackky trying to gap close. Q still alive for now. Sunstrike misses as well. Satanic pop by Jackky to stay alive, but that tier 3 is not going to be alive for long. They will find first high ground objective of the game here for Boom's end.
Salt Cuirass is finished on 23 Savage. But Hyde?
Find Hyde, lift back. Starbreaker does miss with a lift, but Hyde still set to fall. Savage can't even gap close. Doesn't have BKB. Trying to go onto Jackky, but doesn't have output. He just doesn't really have damage on the Elk.
And no black hole for about 100 seconds as well, which means that that's not going to get any easier for them. However, they can at least... Losing tier 3s is fine. Losing Raxes... Even one is okay, but you just can't afford to lose more than that. 25 to 5. This is 5 kills for Talon. I just realized that they've only gotten 5 kills this whole game.
Yeah, they've not been able to get anything off of Boom so far. Just a couple of pickoffs here and there. We've got that blink up on Jackky now, so you can just reposition these fights. Age is still standing for a minute and a half. Lots of time to just keep that aggression here. Enough time, perhaps, to wait for that next black hole in KP, but a smoke is out from Boom. Look for
1 minute
for a
for
move
black
in.
hole.
They still have that stolen black hole as well on Tims. They just need to find an angle with his blink. Savage, juicy target up front, but they do manage to find Tims. They get good stun out with the Wukongs. Man, Midnight Pulse. They sacrifice Q. Savage still dropping low, not able to pop that BKB. Mikado's leashed up as well. The tree's broken, but he's still stopped. He can't run. And Jackky just running forward. Again, still has that Aegis ready, but the Satanic will keep him alive a little bit longer. Starbreaker connects Savage. Not going to be under threat yet. BKB still running, but the racks are gone.
Yeah, they're having trouble killing Savage, but they're like, well, we don't need to. Like, he's not the objective. He doesn't even use BKB to stay alive, because there is no Spirit Vessel on the enemy side. KP, where we had 20 seconds left for the black hole. All eyes on black hole, but there's still an Aegis. 20 seconds. It's going to come out roughly the same time as the Aegis.
That could be the big timing Talon needs if they can just wait it out. Jackky being held down. The racks are still melting. 2 sets of racks for Boom to find.
Black hole is up.
Black hole is ready, but they're not able to really do much with it. And Boom back off in the nick of time. Only a few seconds left for Jackky. So they get 2 sets of racks. Well, at least the ranged racks down
one
mid.
and a half.
1.5.
They got the less important one, the mid lane. So it's kind of, I mean, Talon, they're on the ropes. They are in a tough situation, but they have the tools to come back from it. They have Hyde providing vision, and they have KP with the black hole. They have a very farmed Alchemist as well. It's all about, can they use it? Jack?
Hyde! Oh, got hammered down, cut down as well. Is taken away. They find the Monkey King, no buyback on him. He managed to blink out in Q before the Sprout comes out. They are just stalling. And the threat of black hole, it's there. The high ground of Talon can be great, but the circumstances to pull it off just feel so tough. BKB next for KP. And seeing Mikado actually go for the Force Staff just to save out of that Sprout leash. So, full utility on the Pango.
And one other thing is that Talon kind of Hyde had the wards, and he put them all the way on the enemy side. So they're actually not getting benefits from their the warding on this aggressive warding.
Yeah, they're not able to play under that vision as they're just under pressure on the high ground. Jackky again just going up. Has the Titan Sliver as well. Going to be a little bit harder to hold him down. Output goes higher than Starbreaker as just kind of walks up there.
360 health by the Dawnbreaker every time she gets a Luminosity crit for her and for everyone around her as well. So that's just massive. Kodo's rolling in.
Roll up. Does manage to land a one-time on Jackky along with the lift back on the Dispose. They're still not dropping that black hole. They're being very cautious. They drop the Dropping everything. Hand of God is there to heal from Jackky when he pops that Satanic, but Starbreaker is huge and KP's gone. Has the buyback. They hold back Savage with a Sprout. Still trying to find an angle back in here, but aren't able to do so. Prevent losing any more. Although Savage starting to get held back. Still has a BKB. Isn't able to use it yet. Isn't popping it. Might have to pop it soon. Does pop it on. Rage will fade. Savage is going to be forced back with a buyback on KP. They have the black hole on Talon's end, but Boom will play it safe.
Forcing out the buyback from KP. By the way, huge play by Yopaj. He's like, why are we waiting for black hole? We can just kill him, you know? We don't have to steal it every time, Tims. They can bring down 23 Savage. They are having problems with this, but he's actually not able to dish out the damage, so he's just not exactly a tank. He's sort of a big, I don't know, body without arms, you know, just sort of flailing at people. You can't punch him away, you can't kick him away, but he also doesn't do anything to you. It's KP can't get the catch on. Mikoto's basically not having a game this game, and the supports, like, these are not supports who can do much when they're behind. Hyde can provide vision. You maybe can catch, you know, save someone else, but these are not supports that give you like, legitimate stats, if that makes sense. You know, they're not big stuns or team fight in any sort of way.
Yeah,
Bottom lane again, though.
Tricky. Clumping up on Boom. DD up on Jackky. Output on the Dawnbreaker is amazing, and we'll have the, I believe, the Strength Blink up soon. So the Overwhelming is going to be ready. More damage coming through. Better initiation angles for Boom as they fully smoke up. Talon, again, just held in their high ground. They even have great vision on Talon with the forward wards here. Smoke is out, not spotted by the ward. Immediately broken anyway. Jackky hammering onto Q. Savage forced to run up. Are they going to find the angles? Trying to go for Tim's first. The Glimmer Cape does save for now, as Hyde is set to fall as well. Buyback on Q. Still looking for something to work. And Savage is isolated by himself and still has a BKB. Gets disposed by Tims. That range is insane. And they find Mikoto as Savage is held in the middle. Doesn't even get the BKB. Is taken away. No buyback. KP hand around and the GG is called. Talon will have to play through lower bracket. Boom going into the finals for the qualifier in spectacular fashion. A little bit of a back and forth, but game 1, game 3 for Boom just looked clean.
Oh man, like the way they were able to sort of handle everyone else, the supports from Talon really needed their course to sort of do well. Mikoto kind of there was that early fight where they sort of really pushed hard on Talon's side, trying to kill Yopaj, gave him a triple kill. That kind of ended Mikoto's game right then and there. And 23 Savage, he had a very good performance. He really performed well, but no one else could enable him. KP.
My thoughts get away now. I got better things to do, picking fate now. I just wanna be the best, call me great now. I don't know if I'm okay or insane now. I remember better days on the playground, hoping I can find my way. Even when I'm feeling down, I fight. Even when I don't know what is right, I'ma pick a side and I'ma take pride. I will decide my fate and I will never let them tell me who I am. If you try to shake me, I'll be damned. Planet on the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone.